It's time to get the playoffs underway here at the NECC. We jump into Valorant here on a Monday. My name is Vincent, joined by Plausible. Plausible, how you doing, man?
How could I not be doing good, Vincent? Come on. How can I not be doing good? We got playoffs in collegiate Valorant for NECC. We've got two really strong teams, 8 really strong teams, really across our entire bracket here. It's a double elimination bracket. The top 4 teams from each group have made it in. Just for a quick catch up at home, that's from Group A: Winthrop, Maryville, SJSU, Blue, and Fisher Fruit. one of the many Fisher teams to make it in. And then from Group B, we've got Northwood, Fisher Navy, TAMU, and Fisher Tea Party. Fisher really lighting up like a Christmas tree here in NECC playoffs. We'll see how many of their teams can claim success. And we'll just see who claims success overall. It's a double elim bracket this fall. Ton of action to be had.
Yeah, I'm excited for Double Elim as well. We were talking about it in the green room. I'm pumped to kind of get like a story of a run through a lower bracket. I feel like that's tough to do, but when it happens, it's so cool to see. And speaking of cool things, I think this is a cool story for this matchup because you have Maryville who are kind of on, they've been on the upswing. They are on that upswing. And a Texas A&M that, off the back, like a championship winning roster here that I think, haven't quite looked at championship winning level this season, at least not consistently, have they?
Yeah, during the season, it's been a little bit more of a struggle for TAMU. Admittedly, the only 2 games that they've lost were to the 2 teams directly above them, Northwood and Fisher Navy, both excellent rosters. And Maryville can kind of say the same thing. I mean, don't get me wrong, their scoreline is better. They're 2nd seed out of their group. But the only time they lost was that one game that we casted a couple weeks ago, Vincent, versus Maryville here on stream, where it was close, right? But it was like 9-13, both maps. It wasn't as close as a squad like Maryville would want it. Again, Maryville, you talked about TAMU, championship winning roster from last year, all sticking together, all coming back into this, looking to keep that crown. Maryville, complete opposite. Completely new roster, a bunch of amazing collegiate players picked up from all over the place, now hungry for a crown of their own.
Yeah, it's a cool story that they have been able to build up because I mean, I'll say it out loud. Listen, Maryville, they looked a little silly. They built a team that on paper was good and then didn't work in reality, unfortunately, last semester. But well, that was last year that they built it, but didn't work out last semester. Now they seem to have rebuilt and rebuilt well. Like Giza, obviously from SEC. I mean, Renz was at Winthrop in the fall. Clark from Fisher, like they have assembled the Avengers of collegiate in some ways.
From St. Clair, and like all 5 of these players could be the best player on a lot of other teams.
They were in most cases they were.
In a lot of cases they were the best player from where, or at least close to the best player from
top
wherever
3,
they came
for sure.
from. Yeah, I'd argue top 2 at the very least. But it's going to be very interesting to see today because these 2 teams, not only are they different story-wise, they're also very different stylistically, Vincent. I mean, TAMU likes to keep to their guns. They have a particular style that they enjoy, especially, if they can get their hands on the deadlock these days. They love that style of locking down the map and everything. Once upon a time, TAMU was the most aggressive, overly aggressive team in Collegiate Valorant, but that was years ago. Long since have those days passed, and these guys work together like a tightly knit unit. Whereas Maryville, I feel like, are still, I mean, in a good way, getting it together. They're still experimenting. They got a lot of weird comps, but I like the innovation that we see from Maryville.
I think that's the key, is the innovation, the X factor that this Maryville roster can bring. It's hard to be prepared against them. You don't know what they're going to do. And I think that extends both to the compositions they play and then the way they approach things in the server. I think that their fundamentals still very strong just because of the strength of all of these players. They can get away with that, but it feels like there's some looseness in there as well that you don't necessarily get all the time. And I think that's really exciting. I think it's wildly interesting coming into this matchup because of those stylistic differences that I think we're probably going to see up against one another, banging, clashing heads, if you will. But that leads us into a huge question mark for this series, a complicated question, which is the veto. And I think there's 2 questions at the forefront of my mind, right? Obviously, a couple of weeks ago, mid-season, we got the change. Lotus and Icebox are out. Pearl and Split come back in. The first question is, are either of these guys prepared to play Pearl or Split? Obviously, TAMU in the past has been a pretty decent Split team, but that was months and months ago. Are they going to be prepared to go into that now?
Yeah.
What are we looking at? I think that's the main question on my mind.
Well, and thus far in NECC, really pretty much nobody has wanted to touch Pearl with a 10-foot pole, right?
Sad.
Tamu immediately banned that, right? Immediately out of the game. Nobody wants to go back to that map right now, in collegiate at the very least. And Maryville then go to the Ascent ban, which I think makes perfect sense for them. It's a map that they technically, they've played it a little, they've won it, but you wouldn't call it their bread and butter, whereas Tamu have a lot more, at least, game time here. And then we get into the maps we're actually going to be seeing. Bind, Tamu's favorite map at the moment, without a doubt. This lets them run that deadlock that they love and really lean into that play style. Then we flip things over to Abyss. We saw Maryville on Abyss in that game versus Winthrop. They run all sorts of crazy stuff here. They've ran ISO at times, but they almost always run the Yoru. That being said, their comp is swapped up a lot, so it's hard to say what they're going to bring to this map. So both teams really getting pretty much the ideal map for their first round pick.
They do, but that's where things become a little bit wild in my mind. If I'm a fan of Tamu and I'm looking at what they've done before, first and foremost, fair enough if you don't want to play Pearl, but listen, you don't really want to test this Maryville roster on Abyss or Sunset. Those are the two I would be looking to avoid, and by banning Pearl, they've left both of those to go through, not just in the first wave of bans, but in the second, because Tamu Tech split out, allowing for Maryville to remove Haven and leaving Sunset as that decider. I think that this is, for me, potentially a mistake that Texas A&M have made. Now, I have faith that if they're leaving that through, that there's a game plan here, there's an idea, something behind this, but as much as Sunset's not a map that they don't play, it's just such a strength of Maryville. They've had some losses on that, but those are, one of those, at the very least, a very good team in Winthrop that I'm not that worried about. I think that leaving both Abyss and Sunset here is very dangerous for Texas A&M.
I think it's worth stating for Tamu that if they were really worried about Maryville's Sunset, they would have banned it. To me, split ban, knowing the Tamu guys as well as I claim to, or at least I hope as well as I claim to me, this just says this is a comfort ban. They saw that Abyss was picked, and they're like, well, of the other three maps, we can kind of play whatever. These guys have been playing these other three maps for a very long time, all as a cohesive unit. And to me, it just sort of says that, yeah, we're fine with Haven or Sunset. We're not going to be uncomfortable there. And it's worth noting that both of these teams, at least in NECC, have good records on Sunset. Both of them have lost it 9-13 to the number one team to come out of their group. Both of them. Right, so it is very much a mirrored. If we end up getting all the way to Sunset, I wouldn't write off Tamu there. I understand your concern though. Let's talk about map number 1 though. No real big surprises from either of our squads. These are the compositions they both like, and we are just straight into game. Let's get on into the playoffs.
Yeah, the Nabber deadlock is obviously the big combo piece coming into this one. You're always going to be seeing that for Tamu on the bind pick, and I mean, it's been really good. They have, I think you described it in the game we did a couple of weeks ago. It's just like sort of defining of this like roster as a whole.
Yeah. I've talked to Nabber quite a bit, and he's confident that he was confident even before people started playing Deadlock that it was underrated. Now that people have leaned into it, pioneer of that agent certainly. Tamu starting off on the attack here. Joba, yeah, you're not gonna have too much luck here. There's a couple there. Flash to go in, but you need more backup than that, KHS. There we go. There's Aussie Frosty getting into it.
Yeah, I nearly lined him up, but 2 quick headshots, that'll do. Big control of Lamps, and now a difficult retake upcoming, and time starting to tick away. Being Chilling, though, loses a duel, and that's going to tee up that UL player to get active once again. Nabber swings forward, and Aussie Frosty removing heads left, right, and center, but now has it all to do. An ace up is the possibility. Ren's on the other side. Taps on the spike, but there's the clutch! The ace for Aussie Frosty to get you going with some confidence.
Oh, Aussie Frosty. Unbelievable getting an ace there. Yeah, buy into that Vandal. We know you're gonna do it. That's just an unreal clutch moment from Aussie Frosty. That round was looking lost when KHS died, the second death, right? And then Aussie Frosty comes in, mops him up. It was really on cleanup duty that entire round. Everybody else was taking contact, and the Raze was getting all the kills. A little bit backwards considering what you would normally think of your entry, but Aussie Frosty more than happy to play that little bit of a, little bit of a, it's funny. Once upon a time, TAMU would just call KHS the like kill stealer, right?
Yeah.
In that round, I think Aussie Frosty earned it.
I mean, listen, I'll tell you what. If you're gonna put faith in somebody, Aussie Frost is the guy to do it on this roster. But also beyond that, hey, you can bait me any day if he's getting the days.
Yeah, no, I mean, hey, yeah. If you're gonna hit the shot, bait me. Yeah, that's fine.
Also, 1v2 clutch at the end. Cool beat.
And 5 on your raise as well to start off, right?
On bind especially.
If TAMU can keep a lot of these guns, we do have a tech pause coming in, folks, in case you haven't been able to tell. If TAMU can keep, this rifle, the Bulldog, the Stinger, you can tell that they're not fully investing into this because they want a potentially very deadly third round. I mean, if you can get Aussie Frosty 2 more pips, maybe even 3 here, right? You grab an orb,
plus 1 kill, or a
plus 1
plant.
kill, plus die. Like, that's the showstopper round 3. That's a very realistic goal, and that's a very possible bonus round.
Yeah, it's the, I tell you what, you're talking about the fact that he's kind of second in, third in there. That's where you can put him first in. And everybody moving in the right direction, and have a 3-0 start potentially. That's the plan at least. But
and we look at Maryville on the other side of things. That first round, despite the fact that the first couple of fights really went their way, we're gonna have to keep an eye on the difference in these compositions, right? We've got the double initiator versus this deadlock comp with the Sentinel. Whoa, Giza. Playing a little bit with fire, but does get bailed out. But actually, Giza's TP just kind of is gonna give TAMU the sight here. That concuss doesn't even really need to hit. Oh,
yeah, but who?
Okay. Thing. That's not ideal.
Hold on a second. That's a little wild. Job is getting into this information, but
they're gonna TP themselves. Yeah, too many players came through the TP. These teams are so dynamic in how they're playing.
yeah, this is the right move. It's just not being too committed to the game plan at the start, and being willing to step away when something goes wrong, when you require a side step to move in that same direction. That being said, I was actually going to praise Maryville. I like that they're getting Giza those orbs, right? Like,
yeah,
they're getting ult points, and that's risky as it may have been, like a quick move, but that's decisive. And
I mean,
they know that they're going to be up against potential early ultimates, so they got to get some of their own.
Yeah, I mean, the goal now for the Maryville players is don't die to Aussie Frosty. Well, okay.
Like that.
Well, immediately sidelined. Renz is now just going to try and take some more eco away. That is the showstopper round 3 that's going to be available. The Vandal likely going to be held through here as well, unless Renz gets something. I mean, it was a tag. Aber had just enough health. And now things are getting very dangerous for Maryville. I think Maryville need to find a way, now that we go into an actual gun round for them, now that they'll have actual utility, I think it would benefit Maryville more if they could slow down a few of these rounds. Giza going for the orb is nice, but I think if you try to do that in gun rounds in the future, you're going to run into a problem, or at least you need some more support there. You need to fight for the orb instead of just try and whisk it away, right?
I'm with you, and I think that Maryville are on the same page, right?
Yeah, I agree. It's very early to be sounding alarm bells. I'm just,
Yeah. I think that especially specifically is just about, getting some little advantage, something, and we're already going to see, fighting for space. That's going to be a key indicator, I think, for this whole map and series. It's well done from Texas A&M to ward off that aggression that Wildfire was putting forth with Anja's support.
Decisive thus far from TAMU. They're not afraid to spend Utso because they know this is where they want to fight, but Wildfire burns them all to ash. Oh, very nicely done. Good timing there as well. And I mean, he's on track for a raise ace of his own.
Give it to him. I'm here to see I'm here to see the duel, the boxing match between Aussie Frosty and Wildfire. That is what we have potentially teed up tonight.
And Maryville, excellent job playing with the map there. They've read that TAMU were being very decisive. Hey, I want this part of the map. Hey, I want that part of the map. Well, okay, we'll give it to you, and while you're setting up to go to site, we're just going to counterattack. TAMU completely unprepared for Wildfire to swing in like that.
30 seconds left.
And I don't think there's much Nabber is going to be able to do here. I mean, maybe you save the Phantom, but, I mean, you don't really have to. It was a bonus round after all for TAMU. Oh, they're calling Wildfire over. Guys, this is where you get your ace. Come here, bud.
Yeah, clean him up, that's well-deserved ace.
That's very nice from, I mean, Anji even there with the, like, baiting around the corner, not fully committing to the fight. Very nice of him. That's good team play.
Yeah, and the setup was there too. Paranoia from Anj to get them back into that position after they were cleared out with the guiding light plus some other additional utility. Like that is the way to re-clear areas and take fights if you're going to do it. It's so much better doing that if you're Maryville as well in that fashion, because you're guaranteeing that you're gonna at least get some value out of it. You're not just, you know, walking into a space that may or may not have players at. Like, the attackers are there, you're certain.
Full gun round now for both of these teams, and the question is now, how will TAMU switch that up? You can see already Austy Frosty wary of more counterattacks, like in last round. Tapping the orb to try and bait that out. Doesn't happen this time though. Ren's playing a little bit of a bold line, but we'll back up to safety. Both teams really still just getting a feel for each other. Although Maryville, I don't know if they've quite read this properly. The rotate was leaving. Sight has more or less been given up, but nice use of the snakebite there to actually bait this out. Paranoia to stall. Will it work out? I mean, you got rid of the showstopper, so I think that's a win.
I mean, a win in my book for sure. Trying to play denial on the outside of these smokes, but Austy Frosty, it just doesn't matter. Tracked them both through the smoke. On just another one inside here, but maybe, just maybe can work its way through. Not before the spike goes down. We'll lose out and get stunned in the process. It's Austy Frosty for 3 and a triple entry, none of which include the showstopper, as you mentioned. It's all up to Giza, 1v4, but that's a start you're looking for.
I mean, with 70 health, though, and you just have to spray him down. Yeah, Austy Frosty's good for that. That's a 4K to add to the ace from earlier. Already well more than 10 here. 11-1 for Austy Frosty. And what it feels right now between these two teams, I mean, it's early days, but these first few rounds, it's all come down to just who gets the jump on the other team. Who's able to take the initiative at the right moment. When TAMU have been able to strike and actually find players to sink their teeth into, when Maryville aren't able to get away, TAMU have been more successful. When Maryville get away and are able to successfully counterattack, then they've been doing an excellent job.
And it sets up, you know, that same question. How do Maryville adjust? It's a more forward position. Giza on the other side. Wards off Austy Frosty. That's a huge head to take.
Yeah, without Austy Frosty, TAMU have to slow this round down and just sort of look for picks. I don't think Joba's going to check his left here. Wildfire's in a very good position. Oh, especially with Giza getting another. I mean, the B-site's falling apart and the spike is even seen. Nah, but you're not going to get squat here, buddy. Not unless you get the most favorable timing through a smoke ever.
Not just seen, but lost. Entirely now in control of the defense. I think TAMU, I mean, they're fighting a long game that is a lost game, trying to recover it. And that being said,
the best part for Maryville is that Wildfire's push-up A short wasn't ever even spotted. So you can go for that again next round.
Run it back.
Yeah, run it back and completely neutralize, or at least make this Viper wall up A short cost something. Oh, the timing, almost perfect for Nabber, but now there's 2 there. I mean, you're just never going to win that.
Yeah, it feels like the time to move has already gone by. Right, if this was a winning move, a winning strategy for TAMU, they would have had to gone for it before now. And
Joba at least bails Nabber out of Hooker with the paranoia coming through. Nabber was worried he was stuck, so Joba comes through, says, "Hey, the TP guy's just chilling in the TP, waiting for you to make a move. So just slow walk out. We can keep our guns and try to keep this game close." Already very back and forth in our first 5 rounds, Vincent. This is what we were hoping for from the playoffs.
Yeah, I wonder what the money's like actually here for TAMU.
I don't think it's great.
Yeah, I'm thinking no as well, but I didn't get a chance to look at it last time. What I do know for certainty though is that They don't have any of those big ticket ultimates like up, ready to go on one of these half buys, if that's what it is, type of purchases. You want to be able to have a more punchy game plan, at least typically. And I don't know that they're going to have that. They are going to maybe pace up though, based on how they're setting up. And this is heat up to be an A hit once you get some shower control.
A deep Omen smoke keeps getting committed. Yeah, the one we're looking at right now. I don't believe that 0 point spots anybody, though.
I don't think so.
Yeah, Clark just gets the hard information. Oh, loses most of his life for it, though.
What a... That's devastating. They thought they had gotten 2. They got 1. KHS was forward, was already through and unknown to Wildfire at the time. He bites off more than he can chew. That's Maryville with a really nice idea of a play. Like, that's exactly the type of info gathering and action we want to see across the map.
It's just really heads up from KHS to know that somebody's going to come in and push. If you commit the thrash like that, somebody's coming. So KHS has to take the contact there. I mean, yeah, Clark was already low enough. Just the edge of the paint shell there is enough to take him down. And Orange probably good for 1 here. Yeah, I mean, at least stops the spike from being planted. 3v4 is not unwinnable.
Not at all. So this is good post-plant positioning already set up by Tamu. And if they get lamp control here as well, going to be in a good position. But Anj is already prepared, spotted out as man sent in. There's still a lot
the sound sensor and lamps, though. That's so hard to push.
Trying to clear Aussie Frosty out is going to be even more difficult. That's a quick trade, though, from Giza. But this should be unlosable now. Flash off the back of it. Rins his heads up. Naber, he's got to do it alone. On the flank, they're looking for him. And it should have been good, but Maryville breaks him apart. It's all tied up at 3.
Tamu went too fast. They went too fast. They were holding for the flash, but they needed to wait until the spike got tapped. It's Maryville who's on the time pressure there. Tamu, there was no reason to go for that flash play when they had no confirmation that somebody was actually going to be there and looking at it. Giza, just phenomenal. Playing the wide angle, turning the flash, taking down not only Austy Frosty and Lamps, alleviating the pressure behind you, but then pretty much everybody else. I mean, don't get me wrong, Austy Frosty's been on a heater, but put some respect on Giza's name. This guy's nasty. And actually, looking at Tamu, I'm a little bit concerned because it's kind of like only Austy Frosty's been on a heater.
we haven't peeked at that scoreboard for a round or two, and yeah, I'm with you there. But listen, Aussie Frosty is like consistent good for this type of performance.
Oh, for sure.
Not that crazy at the end of the game, but this is sneaky from Joba. Gonna get all the way through. Aussie Frosty gonna be stalled out for the moment, but having this control is massive. And even on the fadeaway, the snake bite going to collect just the 1. This is a lot done, especially now as the Viper's Pit gets active on the A site. Texas A&M might not have the best positioning, but with this Viper's Pit, I think they're doing okay.
It's also a really heavy commitment. Austy Frosty's playing all the way back because once everybody else dies, the showstopper will be the last thing committed. If it is deemed necessary, he will come up short and commit the showstopper. First, you have to hold this pit, though, and the players in it are low, especially the Viper, who needs to stay alive.
Oh, and staying alive is all good for being chilling. Has the stinger in hand and goes up and in with the classic as well. Anj versus everybody. A man alone, but maybe can do enough. Tracks Joba through the toxic screen, and it's Austy Frosty who didn't need the showstopper, but had the clutch just as well. Doubled up for Austy Frosty, now a 1v2 and a 1v1.
That is a 3 ult commitment from Tamu, though. So yes, it's a thrifty, but it's not the cheapest thrifty you've ever seen. Only the showstopper was able to be held on to, and the annihilation from Naver not quite up yet. So Tamu made a call early in that round that they saw something punishable from Maryville, that the players were too far forward. If they got rid of places that Maryville players could play, then they would be able to wither down enough of those forces and stall enough time. It works, but it's not repeatable success. So we need a new game plan now as Tamu, we're going to go pretty quick to A, but now, I mean, they've just baited out a ton of utility and even the pit. So yeah, go back to B. And if you do your due diligence and catch these sand players, Tamu, this could go very well.
Yeah, this is a really aggressive move from Maryville, but Well, they're hearing everything. They know
Nobody's
everything is happening. Yeah, nobody's going to get this information. And they're about to get shot in the side of the head. There's going to be somebody looking, but turns at the wrong time to Saucy Frosty. Pork is quick on the flank, but he's only got a classic. This is just not the gun for the job. Not confident in the shot as well. And Giza, he's the last possible line of defense, but with that guiding light, his position made known, and KHS removes him from this round. Just didn't have the tools, to be honest. Maryville, this up and down, back and forth has been really problematic for their economy.
Big unlucky for Maryville. That was already a tough round economically. And with 4 alive from TAMU, their money's just going to go further into the pit. Most players on Maryville bought there, so you know, they'll piece together a gun round here, but even with a lost round bonus stacking up, things are starting to get tricky. Operator for Ange. This is something Maryville like to do. They'll throw an op on set. A lot of these people have played operator roles. A lot of them can op out of nowhere. So Ange is going to take that op. Where's he set up? Showers? Is that going to be... I don't know how I feel about the showers. Oh,
I love it. And
I mean, there's one great angle for it, but you need help getting set up for it. It costs a lot of utility.
I mean, that's what it looks like they wanted to do, but actually, Ange, I think just walking it in, that was no contact made, which also, now that I'm thinking about it, makes sense. Talk about it in a second, because Wildfire looked like he wanted to maybe continue forcing the issue forward. Does eventually, it's KHS on the aggressive that time around. That's on the orb that doesn't actually get it. Ange just repositioned too into prime position to play up against this attack that just isn't going to be stopping. I say that. That's disgusting from Joba.
The barrel gives away the op. And Cloric, I mean, there's nothing he was going to be able to do from there. Getting pinched from Showers and Short at the same time. Aussie Frosty even expecting the flank. The timing here for the flank might not quite work out for Frosty. No, he's got it. Yeah, nailed it. And Renz, I mean, what do you even do here?
You run. You run for the hills.
But even then, I mean, you head for the hills and save one gun?
No, it's not great. I don't love it. But also,
there's
you go into the site.
Really deadly ops from TAMU. That's another thing I love about the TAMU composition, is that every single alt in this TAMU bind comp can win you around. Every single one of them. They're impactful, exactly. And the Maryville alts aren't bad by any stretch of the imagination, right? But Null Command a little bit weaker, you know. From the Shadows significantly weaker, right? Yeah. So it's not quite that same level of potency.
Yeah, I back to, by the way, the push there, the op. I do want to touch back on that, because I do think that there's some interesting thought process behind that for Maryville that I'm seeing, and maybe you can give me some feedback here if you think this is reasonable. I think they've been so active in that area before. They just walked that up. They didn't actually set the op up. And I think in this case, that made a lot of sense, because they knew that their conditioning previously would set TAMU up to fail in that situation. They would be expecting, they don't see any type of setup, any type of utility, probably not going to be there. No, just kidding. There's an op in your face.
I think it was the right idea from Maryville, just a little rough around the edges on the exact particulars of that plan, right? I think Cloric is playing in a really tough spot. You know, even if Ange hits one, there's a very real world where 3 players come from, like, either side, and Cloric still gets pinched because you just can't help fight as much when you have an operator and you're sitting on top of truck. You're good for one, for sure, most of the time, right? And Ange, I don't know how many times he's been in that position with that operator based on, getting the barrel caught. That's a little bit tough. So I just wonder how many reps with that exact plan Maryville has had. Now we'll have to look at these last 3 rounds. The timeout from MCE. From what we've seen from Maryville and NECC, MCE's timeouts have been superb, as would anyone who knows MCE's history would expect. But it's just a question of, will it matter in this low econ round? Here comes the showstopper. TAMU not afraid to make investments to ensure things, but Renz shutting that down, not letting the rocket even get fired. Oof, and Joba gets caught alone. Actually, off and long. This is not going well at all for TAMU. Very nicely shut down. Giza with a perfectly timed swing.
Aussie Frosty just flubbing the movement there, unfortunately. And I think the idea, isolating Giza was right. Just gotta get the kill. He's just on the move with the Stinger. It's a bit of a disgusting one. 3-on-5 should be very difficult to win, but still call this winnable.
No,
Hello,
no.
Wildfire. Peekaboo, I see you. And KHS now on the move, still looking, and now they've got a massive amount of control. Everybody coming spawn side. They've got to respect KHS's position. Even though he's fallen back, he slinks away to instead play the long game. That long con eventually set.
You have to get away from the Thrash here. Annihilation just to stall some time and give some information. Yes, there are at least 2 coming from there. We don't have to worry about our flank as much. HS with the contact. Good for yet another. 3 for him on the round. And things getting dire for Maryville as they run low on time, Vincent. They're going to leave.
I mean, they didn't have the time. This is the right call, but at one that it's tough to swallow. You hate to be walking away with a loss in this one, particularly not when you had a 5-on-3 advantage. KHS is the hero of this round. Stasa claimed so much map control once the spike gets planted. It's got the entirety of heaven there locked down. That is absurd that he gets that kill into Wildfire and then balls it up onto Ange as well. You're just loving what KHS is able to do in a situation where he needed a multi. He needed to get multiple kills in order for them to win the round.
KHS was the original clutch master powerhouse fragger for this TAMU team. Back before they added Joba, back before Aussie Frosty was as much of a beast as he is now. KHS was the man you needed when times got tough, and in that round shows that still very much capable. That, ooh, Aussie Frosty has red. That Renz is going for this Jiggle Peek too. Tries to catch him lacking, goes for it again. Gets the better end of that trade and just forces Renz away.
Renz has been there a bunch of times, Paul, like all half long. He's been on that jiggle. I think that's just reading into
Giza's
understanding
been there
what's
as well.
happening.
TAMU have really starting to get the read.
What do you do if you're Renz? You're locked down in that position. There's nowhere to move, nowhere to go. And I tell you what, it's these B hits that, I mean, TAMU, when I think of TAMU, I think of some of their incredible B hits that we just haven't even seen this whole half.
Yeah, they really haven't touched B much, have they? They've gone over there twice, but always pivoted to A later. And in this round, I mean, they just were completely ready for Maryville's setup. They knew that Giza would be hanging around in Garden. They knew that Renz would be vulnerable in Hookah. And once you shut those players down with or without util, there's not really much that Maryville can do, especially with their composition. I mean, you have the showstopper, sure, Wildfire, but good luck getting it out of defender spawn.
It's once again a matter of how TAMU, even though they haven't hit B, they've pressured B so often. You talked about the pivots towards A.
Yeah.
They pressured B so often that they had that information, that they were ready to understand how Maryville had been playing it. And when you don't adjust mid-half even, you can get exposed later on in round 11 and 12 like we saw there.
This has thus far been the exact attacking half TAMU were hoping for on their map pick. Undoubtedly their most confident and comfortable map. One that, I mean, we were talking about it earlier, a little surprised that Maryville didn't go for the ban here.
I'm very surprised. I mean, Maryville plays some bind. I'm not saying their bind's bad. But when you have bans to play with, I don't know. I feel like taking away your opponent's best map when you don't have a clear weakness that they can go to, like, it seems like the right call for me, but I think they got it done in the latter half of the veto. So
maybe they just saw something on TAMU's Ascent comp that they didn't like.
Could have been. It's also
only
an Ascent that has been iffy, up and down for them.
Sure. And now, I mean, TAMU, this last round would just be, buttering their bread a bit more. You can see that they've actually completely thrown a wild card in here. At the very end, they finally go for a 5-player default across the map. Haven't done this at all. Just looking to see if Maryville, hey, it's the last round. Maybe they'll try something. Maryville, I mean, especially on A here, almost playing a little bit timid. Look how far back these two players are.
I feel terrified. Doesn't even look like they
have to re-clear their own site just to see if people walked up.
Yeah.
As TAMU were coming in for the hit.
And Aussie Frosty is, I mean, he's read into this potentially very well. This walk-in, nobody here to deny it. Warwick just try and get a fragment onto the spike planter. I think he did.
Showstopper on the flank.
attempt, and indeed, you're right, it is coming through. That's going to be free and clear. Now, how do you hold this site even after you get the spike down?
Good start, at least bailing out some of the pressure. And I mean, if Renz dies, then Tamu will have somewhere very viable to run off to. KHS does fall, though, so now it's site versus short. Will Renz find the timing through lamps?
One enemy remaining.
Chilling. Needed clutch after clutch for Tamu all half long, and it's not going to be this time. Burns Ren's alive, but Punch has the defuse, and he won't be allowed, or I should say Tamu won't be allowed to clutch up every single round needed in this half. 8-4, though, still a fantastic scoreline.
A much-needed 4th round for Maryville. Considering I think their composition doesn't necessarily, I wouldn't say like it's like, you know, like a triple duelist comp or something crazy where it's like, oh, well, they can only attack, right? But I think considering you're running Gecko and KO particularly, I think this comp gets a lot more, like the ease of this composition gets a lot easier on the attacking side, right? You're more comfortable playing this on the attack because Maryville's game plan is very clear. Let's figure out where they're playing and punish them. Whether we go into them because they're playing in spots that are punishable, or we go away from them because if they're strong on this side of the map, they won't be strong elsewhere. That's Maryville's clear game plan. But Tamu with the deadlock, I mean, that's the player you really have to find. You have to find Nabber, and you have to find Aussie Frosty just because Aussie Frosty was having such a hell of a game.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking about he's good for it. We're past the he's normally good for this. We're at the, yeah, he's carrying and carrying hard. Nabber out in the open, really lucky not to be in more trouble there. Aussie Frosty going down as well on the east side proper. Being chilling, a lot of pressure flying out on lamp side. All good. Still good for some defense from
Tamu are playing with their food, though. Maryville don't know if they should execute or leave. Finally, they're going to TP, but the rotate's already on its way.
I mean, an overwhelm. This is immediately Texas A&M understanding that they are no longer playing against an A-site hit, and so they can so quickly move away. Joba, though, dinked up, and look at the HP. Oh, this is so low for Maryville.
Oh. Oh! Soft clears it, but still gets the kill. His health, though, is a real problem. Almost everybody low. What Tamu have to do is find a way to group up and clear these corners. Give Bing Chilling a chance to take these low health players down. It's so hard for them to group. Look at where they are.
They gotta move. Move they will. Joba into the crosshairs of Giza. Bing Chilling. Just gonna tap on the spike. In fact, gonna sit on the spike whilst Nabber plays defense. That's a crazy move. Nabber 21 HP, but has the Sheriff. And they're like, yeah, all good. Nabber's gonna hit those shots.
What trust? What trust in each other there from Nabber and Bing Chilling.
And he gets the defuse there as well so that they can get the ult point.
Yeah, the Annihilation already too. I mean, last time it was 5 pips for the Showstopper. Now it's 5 pips for the Annihilation. Nicely done by Tamu, and things get very difficult. The road to a map 1 victory, as narrow as can be for Maryville at this point.
I didn't get to say it, but I think for Tamu in this series, it's bind or bust. And the fact that bind is looking so far away from that bust
clean.
is incredibly encouraging.
Toxin screen down.
And that 0 point, I don't think caught anything. Might be a bit of a bait, actually. Yeah, they're aware that there's got to be players in long here. Like, what does Renz do? Oh, I mean, nice shot. Good for a second. That's what Maryville need. Hello?
Just shoot them, Paul. It's that simple.
I mean, yeah, apparently, but that plan does work 2 ways. Oh, and the Page Shell creates such an opening. Aussie Frosty blows him to bits and gets another nade. Out for another swing, wild as can be. Who needs to aim? Just spray and pray.
Oh my goodness, dude. Aussie Frosty just pre-firing everything. Everything must be pre-fired. Gets away with everything and just chilling before the defuse, hanging out. I was wondering what was happening.
That to me was one of 2 things. Either Tamu had somebody in the comms with a legitimate plan there, or somebody was just like, hold on, I need to replug my mouse in, or I need to get more water. You buy an extra 4 seconds.
A fun
I
fact.
can see the TAMU guys doing this.
That could happen. I was on a game last week where somebody had to recharge their mouse mid
I
series.
love that. That's collegiate in a nutshell.
No,
I
it
love
wasn't collegiate. It was
Oh.
professional.
Oh.
player. Yeah. Anyway.
Also, I mean, we've played 14 rounds. Aussie Frosty's got 25 kills.
I know.
He's gonna if they there's a world where TAMU locks us up 13-4 and he still drops 30.
He is playing unreal Valorant right now. Like the amount of multi-frags, like even just triple and quad kills he's getting should not be reasonable, but it's Aussie Frosty.
And Maryville at least have a good staging ground here for a B play. How does that happen?
I don't have answers for you, Paul. I'm
Was
sorry.
that light armor? Did Cloric have the light armor and just have the most unluckiest day ever? I mean, at least Renz has been doing his best to bail Maryville out of these last couple of rounds. Almost gets Bing chilling as well. He's gonna go for it.
Ooh. I don't think that was intended, but it works out brilliantly. Renz ultimately sort of double swing as Anj was getting the shrouded step in on the other side. Naber, just a pistol, still going to be clearing out Lamp side of this. It's a little something to take away for him this round, but I mean, a win seems way far out of the realm of possibility. That'll help. That'll help, most certainly. Gives away the clear indication that Keys is here, and that's a lot of bullets that he's going to have to put down in there. But Renz ain't done yet, and it's the third ace.
That's our
of
third
this
ace
game.
of map 1. Are you kidding me? Maryville have aced twice, but have 5 rounds?
Yup.
What an unbelievable first map we've already have. I mean, it was close for a while. TAMU have run away with it, but make no mistake, Maryville absolutely deserved this playoff spot. And like you were talking about earlier, that occasionally can look a little bit rough around the edges, but make no mistakes about any of their mechanics on this Maryville team. I mean, Renz just coming to life in these last couple of rounds. If he can keep that up on their attacking half, at least Maryville can make this map look close.
Here's the thing. I don't even think, for me, it needs to look close, because Maryville have not done anything wrong. They've not made really any mistakes that I would say are you know, inherent problems in what they're trying to do.
I agree, but I think for the mental, it just feels better when you get rounds like that, right?
True.
Like, you know, like if you're giving over bind, you know, hey, TAMU are really good at bind. If we lose it, whatever, it's not the end of the world. Like, Abyss and Sunset will be good for us, right? But being able to put up rounds like that, even on a map where you're losing, it makes you feel better, not only for this map, but for, like, the rest of the series. You'll remember, hey, guys, remember those 2 rounds where we aced these clowns? Let's keep it going.
It gives your teammates confidence to watch you do that, too. No doubt about it. You're right.
Meanwhile, I mean, Maryville just kind of slow-walked onto the B site. Didn't have to commit much for this either. Annihilation does grab 1. The swing, though, doesn't quite work out.
Oh, and not going to get away with... They are going to get away with that Annihilation, actually, in its entirety. Naber is
Ren's
moving
flanked,
in.
but will he be in time?
Whilst that is, but I don't think it's going to be in time. There's just not time to get off the defuse. Hold on! The diffuser gets killed, but it's a wild spray. It's not a 4th ace for Naber, but Aussie Frosty stealing it away will allow the defuse. Kindly allow the defuse since he stole away the ace. But 11-5. Maryville getting rounds here or there via an ace in the last case, but those are fleeting victories.
Renz has really put on the hero hat in the last couple of rounds. He's trying to do everything right now, and I gotta respect it. But that is just, I mean, it's a difficult retake for TAMU, but it's one where they have a lot of resources. Being able to use both the Annihilation and the showstopper there. I mean, that's a hard round to win for literally any team. Especially when Naber hits that shot. I mean, if Naber doesn't get rid of Giza on top of Tube, that round goes so differently.
Yeah.
I mean, this is going to be a fast round. They're just going to run it back. Maryville, like, they can't repeat that success. They can't do that again. They don't have the ults. So let's just run it back and play a cleaner post plan.
I mean, they got a lot of information on how Texas A&M were trying to hold this B side of the map. Thrash sent in, going to complicate things. Wildfire, that's a great way to step forward. Take advantage of Thrash regardless of whether Thrash actually gets the kill or not. Anj is going to be forced down the open, doesn't even get there in time. It's paint shells into the ultimate. Now Chloric works his way through the tube, has multiple angles to deal with. It's Giza versus the whole damn world, but Austy Frosty, he's got the world on his shoulders for Texas A&M.
Tammy, you're just so on it right now. The orbital strike. Hey, they can't sit in elbow. There's going to be a tiny corner where they can. Austy Frosty, don't worry. I got it, dude. I'll throw a paint shell. Anj blown to smithereens. Then everybody waiting for the boom bot to clear the right corners. Everybody swinging at the right time. I mean, there's a reason that Austy Frosty has dropped 30. And we haven't even seen 20 rounds of Valorant yet. It's not just because the dude is insane. It's also because TAMU are doing everything in their power to work together and give him fights that are gonna go well.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting set up by his team to take that contact, and he's delivering every time on that contact. It's great. All the little pieces fall into place. And now we look at TAMU, 1 round away from map victory. What do Maryville have to offer? Anj just gonna creep out here. And it's a great call, but Joba inside hookah. This is the first time I think we've seen anybody in hookah proper for TAMU.
Oh, he doesn't turn around in time. And there's a smoke deep CT now. So this elbow flank will work. The question is, can Maryville wrestle enough control out of it to comfortably plant? I mean, I don't even think they know Joba's here.
No, they don't. But careful about it. Gonna make sure to be double, triple checking. KHS now allowing the support, and it rage.
That's wrong.
The judge. It's just not fair sometimes. But it's the advantage that TAMU was searching for. They got to deal with the Viper's Pit.
Viper's Pit is nice, but you're so claustrophobic in here. First contact and Bing Chillin just runs and guns it. That's the pit down, and Chloric's been spotted too. Only a Spectre and Wildfire's low. There's just no way that Bind ain't done. Chloric maybe wants one more round! 29 HP! Just limping Maryville forward to more Bind.
So we're getting silly. We're getting a little wild here, TAMU. I get it. I'm having fun too. But you can't let Chlor do that to you. Oh, 1v3 there at the end to stick it around one more time. And it's maybe a little more complicated than that, Paul. They don't have the money to actually full invest behind this. TAMU are working with less than stellar weapons. It's KHS who has the only big gun. I'm not gonna say Maryville have a way back in yet, because they don't.
Look,
this is an avenue.
Now, again, it's rounds like that you're gonna like remember for the mental and cling on to, right? Because yeah, I mean 6 in a row just doesn't feel very likely. TAMU are having a bit of fun here with this. Not quite. I mean, it was a gamble stack into a gamble, rotate into a gamble. Let's run at him. Renz is aware.
Well, if you're gonna gamble, you might as well keep gambling, right?
I mean, Renz will probably get 1 or 2. Yeah.
1 enemy remaining.
That'll do. That will do. Especially when you have Anj's backup.
Huh? Okay, yeah. Look, I was a little nervous about the timing there. It all comes out in the wash. Anj doing an excellent job. Maryville with 1 more round. But the problem remains for Maryville. The thing is, I really can't start pulling for the comeback until it's like 11 to 12. Just because TAMU can just wait. Wait until they see an opening and then chuck these impact ultimates we talked about in the first half at the wall. Right? Showstopper. Seekers already online. Seekers to give opportunities. Showstopper to make those opportunities a reality. And I mean, the Annihilation... The orbital strike, not far away.
And they on the defense, just not in the same way they could on the attack.
I mean, you say that, but that one retake was all thanks to those ults, so...
That's fair.
Who knows? Seeker's already invested, though. Showstopper, too. Honestly, Frosty doesn't hit squat.
I mean, Bing Chilling gets a little bit done, but with Quark and Alonge continuing to push the issue over on A. Bing Chilling now alone has to do it on his lonesome, and that's just a lot of investment for nothing at all, game.
Yeah, I think TAMU were, the last couple of rounds, they've really felt a little bit too excited to win map number 1. You know, I mean, they could have locked it down versus Chloric if they just slowed down for a second and tried to play that fight together. I don't think there was a need in this round to pop the Seekers or even the Showstopper. I don't think the opportunity was that secure. And now Joba's just going to have to save a rifle because TMU's economy is suddenly not doing too hot after the last few rounds. So Maryville, I mean, it's still quite a road to walk, but at least there is a road. You have confirmation. This road, if we can stay on it, leads to at least overtime.
It's made for walking, you could say.
It is made for walking. They got to get boots to match, though.
That's fair. You know, matching outfits is important. See if they can find some here. Russell in the back closet find some. That said, I just can't, in the back of my head, I just see over and over KHS like diving off the tube here onto Chloric.
I get it.
I just want to know what he was trying to do, and
he was trying to win in style.
He's got to be knifing.
he was having a bit of too much fun with it. And maybe he still is. I mean, this is a low eco round. Yeah, I'm not gonna beat up TAMU over the silly things they try when they don't have real weapons.
No, listen, you can beat him up over the silly things with weapons.
Yeah, I mean, I'll you know, not beat him up necessarily, but I will, you know, give him a little like tap to the back of the head about those two ults they used last round.
No, I mean, all jokes on that especially, but Maryville, a team, I mean, we've been talking about it. I don't think we've seen this version of Maryville a lot today yet, but the respect that we're giving him from a viewer perspective, it's real. And you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. That's how this team works.
Maryville just very slowly playing for this A waterfall. You have to be a little bit careful. Obviously, you don't want to overinvest into, well, util. Flying into the paint shell isn't ideal. Paint chilling with 1 HP. Can he sneak in somewhere? The TP almost stopped. I mean, I won't say this 2v4 is winnable just because Nabber's so low, but there was a world there where things fell apart for Maryville.
Especially if there's just one to be picked up there with the Guardian. Unfortunately, a little bit of a whiff means that it should be a done deal.
I mean, there is no world where Maryville lose this unless they play something very silly. They have the Thrash online, and yes, it's 20 health, but all you have to do is tuck in. Even if Frosty 1v3s everybody else, like, you just tuck in and wait for the Thrash to hit you when you defuse.
I've said the word unlosable before this map.
This should be unlosable.
So I'm just going to avoid
should just
that.
not swing.
I'm just going to avoid that phraseology.
Okay, we're fine. No, Maryville play that to a T. That is exactly how you need to play that round. Have Chloric and Ren swing because A, they have more health. B, they don't have the round-winning ultimate in their pocket.
So now that
Speaking of, this is the round TAMU need to really get on board. Because if they don't, they're going to be out of money. They're going to be, they probably will be using the Orbital Strike and the Viper's Pit in this round. TAMU have not been holding on to ultimates very much. They've been using them the first opportunity it might get something. And to be fair, that's generally gone pretty well.
Generally a good idea, too. They're going to keep at it. Keep moving. Joba has a shotgun. The shotgun, more aptly.
There's no, keep in mind, there's no Sova in this composition. So there's nobody to get information in front of Joba inside this pit. So that's why you still see 3 players hanging around on A, because they can't guarantee that somebody won't walk through.
Commitment that makes a lot of sense considering that context. Look at the offense, though. They're frozen in place. Nobody taking any space. Clark now inches way forward towards hookah control. We'll get that eventually, but as you see the spike moving,
he's baiting
back towards A. Yeah, it's all a bit
he's
of a
baiting,
ruse.
and he's giving an opportunity for a rotate as well. If they don't find the Viper, oh, you're done.
Oh, this is huge.
Oh, poor guy.
That's nasty combo.
Ooh, the Thrash really perfect though. Frosty's so good for 2 somehow. And hang on.
Being chilling.
Do you expect Bing chilling this quick in lamps? I don't think so.
Spike planted.
There's no chance that he's known. They're not even going to look, not even going to be aware of the possibility. Giza falls, and now it's Renz. He had the team on his back so many times. A 1v3 is too much, too far for Renz to go. It's Tamu. They'll get their map. They'll get their win here on Bind. It's 13-9.
Defenders win.
Tamu, lock it up. Stop playing with their food a little bit, and it is a solid map win for Tamu. Maryville absolutely showing signs of life, especially on their attacking side. Just didn't really show that they knew how to shut down Tamu's decisiveness on their attacking side. And Tamu doing an excellent job on their attack too, of just reading where Maryville were set up round after round. Even when changes came in, Tamu were quick on the draw to adapt to them. An excellent map. I mean, that's what we expect of Tamu on Bind at this point. Just an insane performance from Aussie Frosty too, dude. I mean, what do you do to shut that guy down?
Yeah, I think as much as that was a performance that it was team oriented. Like, he was being set up, he was playing around his team to do that. I am, on the one hand, blown away. On the other hand, slightly concerned that was a 13-9 and that, like, you know what I mean? Like, just a little bit. 35-12, hot damn, this guy's on fire.
428 ACS is crazy. With only one first kill.
I know.
That's the entry,
That's
dude.
what I'm saying.
All right. I don't want to hear any TAMU fans calling KHS the beta anymore. It's Aussie Frosty. After that map, it's Aussie Frosty. I love the guy, but come on, man.
I will say it again.
That's absolutely nuts.
He can bait me any day. It's all good.
The fact that the enemy Viper got sextuple the amount of first kills you did as an entry. I mean, that's just insane. Ren's putting on just a monstrous performance too. I think Ren's and Cloric are the reason that Maryville even get back into that game for the time that they do on their attacking half. And like you said, I don't feel like Maryville did anything like explicitly wrong. They just they rarely felt outside of like the first 4 rounds that they had the initiative, that they were the ones like pushing TAMU to the brink, that they were the ones making plays. They were waiting for TAMU to make mistakes, and those mistakes were few and far between.
Yeah, they really didn't happen. And I mean, when TAMU are able to bring back rounds where they have a 3-on-5 as well, like, that's absurd. And for that 3-on-5 to be brought back, and again, where I don't think that Maryville made a huge mistake even in that round, like, that's even more crazy. Like, there is very few situations in the game of Valorant where you're up 5v3 and you don't have to make a massive error to lose that.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that's one of the few situations because of the way Naber was able to play that. Like, it's a bit absurd the way that went down and the way that map goes down.
Just nasty. You can see why TAMU really loved this deadlock. It just lets them control how the engagements come in. Naber is oppressive on a single site when they're attacking, and on defense is making great calls. I mean, you saw the setup in that very last round. Like, Naber's like, yeah, I'm just gonna put my sound sensors forward. When one goes into hookah, I'll grav net him, and then Bing Chilling, come in, do what you do, buddy. Orbital strike, go burr.
Yeah, it's those micro plays too, like, as a whole, that TAMU just they put so much time into this composition, and that they have so many of those synergies.
Exactly, there are so many of those little moments where the utility is perfectly executed. Like, multiple people are using their util in perfect tandem to create opportunities for a gun. I mean, it's literally like what I imagined the Riot devs wanted out of Valorant when they first sat down to make it, right? You don't kill with, I mean, they do kill with utility, not infrequently, but utility creating those opportunities for gunfights. Maryville, not the end of the world for them, though. That was TAMU's best map. That was their map pick. Now we go to Abyss, which is a map Maryville have looked, by and large, pretty good on, and TAMU just straight up have not played in NECC.
Yeah, I think very good. We'll probably talk a little bit about more what that looked like. They have they have a game elsewhere, but that didn't go great. So there's worries for Texas A&M, but for now, we're on the Texas A&M train. They're up a map in this series, and they're gonna see if they can ride this train all the way to victory into Abyss. It's coming up right after this break.
so real.
Yeah, 100%.
It's just a different
Wouldn't make
mode
this
you
appear.
switch your brain into.
It showed up in the I don't think so. That goes way down in there. No. There's something in there, dude. Just leave it.
Are you kidding me?
We'll just head to this. Just leave it.
The hell with that.
There's something in there.
What am I supposed to say?
It doesn't matter. Daddy ain't listening to you anyway.
I'm hungry.
No. Put it away.
I can't watch it.
Oh, crap. Just peek in. You gotta pull it. Just grab it. Just take it out of his hand. What do you mean you can't?
Let go.
What do you mean he won't let go? He's dead.
Help me. Get in here. Just hold on.
Make him let go of it. I got you. Just go in for a hug. Go in. That loss. Hug him. Hug him up. Hug him up. Help me, Lord. Help me get over this love. I can't breathe. I'm so upset. I can't breathe. Stop. You knock on wood so they go to heaven. It's like a lucky.
Hey, get the stick.
Hey, did you get the meat stick?
Yeah, I got it.
Hey, just hold tight for a second. They're moving the casket. Just hold tight.
Yeah, that's no worries. I got it.
Oh man, this is incredible. Huh?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Hey man, grab me a meat stick. I think I can reach it if I just a little more. Just let me go a little. I can't. Just a little more. I almost got it. Careful! Oh God! No, come on, just reach. Just grab my hand. Grab my hand.
Give me the meat stick. This other hand's closer. The one with the stick is. Oh.
It is map 2. It is Abyss coming up next. And listen, Paul, we go from map 1, which is just Tamu's bread and butter. It's their best map by far. It's what I mean. They've been playing this map and being very good at it for over a year now. They win a championship, a title off the back of, in some ways their solidity on Bind. They then move to Abyss, where Maryville, they've got a lot of reps in here, haven't they?
And Tamu have absolutely zero, right? Now, I think the one bright side for Tamu here is that, I mean, there's no way that your comp is given away. There's no way your playstyle is given away. So at least there's that. But how much work has Tamu been putting in behind the scenes is the question, especially that you have to ask with collegiate teams that often, we're doing homework, studying for exams. It's getting late in the semester, right? They got finals coming up. Have they been worrying about what their Abyss looks like, considering that it doesn't get let through by a lot of teams, especially in their group for NECC? Abyss was much more a Group A thing than it was a Group B thing, at least from what I can tell. So, I mean, I don't think Tamu are comfortable here by any stretch of the imagination. That being said, Maryville have been up and down, and this has been one of the maps they've really been experimenting with their composition on. They've really been, like, it's one change here, one change there, one change here, one change there, pretty almost every time they've played it for the past few times. Now, generally, especially the most recent two versus SJSU and Concordia St. Paul, it's looked good. It's looked good, right? Had a couple of losses early on versus GCU and Winthrop, But I think this is also a map that allows Maryville to play to that mechanical prowess that we've seen, where all 5 players are capable of giving you the right moment, the right opportunity to take a round, to take more rounds, to take a map. So I think at least in that manner, it's going to be very good for Maryville. Also, I don't think the deadlock is going to be much of a thing on Abyss. So you're already taking TAMU out of their comfort that way.
Yeah, I don't think there's. Listen, I will eat my sock if we see a deadlock.
No, you gotta be a little bit careful. Napper is willing to force this on more maps than you would expect, so you gotta be a little bit careful.
I mean, that's true. That's true.
Let's see if we gotta eat a sock live on stream.
I have confidence. There's not gonna be a deadlock.
No,
on
you're
this
good.
one. Yeah, listen, I was good when I saw KHS on the cipher. I was like, all
Wait.
good, all good.
Hold on, there is a deadlock down there.
Oh,
We have the teams.
flipped.
We have the names flipped.
No.
All right, sock incoming.
All right.
Ugh. Okay,
Soon
well,
TM. Okay.
we'll deal with that later.
Hmm.
First off, we gotta get into the map.
I have questions though.
Oh.
It's not Nabber.
And that's the Vice.
Yeah, this is crazy.
What is this comp? What are we cooking here, TAMU? I don't even know what this agent's ability, like the names are. I know what they do, but I don't know the names. I gotta look it up.
And I also don't. It's fine.
This is spicy.
I think that Winthrop ran a Vice here at some point, I want to say, but well, good. Anyway, moving on to A. Tamu getting creative with this thing, and you gotta say, it's something. Anj is going to be able to trade Joba, who is out in the open. This does allow some entryway towards the A site, but not in its entirety. This is not easy to move forward. It shouldn't have been. KHS gets turned on, and the 180 away. Napper somehow, some way, still able to get a couple of shots up there, but Austy Frosty left alone.
I mean, they never planted. Maryville are gone. They just left. They're like, hey guys, I don't feel so good. We got 2 people really low. Let's just leave. Let's try and force Austy Frosty into awkward spots across the map. Let's plant B and hope that we'll be okay.
I love the willingness to walk away. Because you know what it does?
It's great.
It just resets any sort of map control or understanding of where anybody could be. So now Austy Frosty's coming into this. It's a clean slate in many ways where he's got no idea.
And considering the health pools for Maryville, you need that clean slate. Giza, Chloric, they need to catch Austy Frosty off guard because you know this guy can hit the heads and he doesn't even have to get rid of Giza.
No charges left.
Tap on the spike. Playing a little ring around the rosy. Just away goes Giza. Into the fray goes Chloric, and it's a quick 1-2 punch as they move into a pistol round victory. Here's where I think Maryville, like a strong start, man, this could just be a deadly move into Sunset. That's my fear.
It's very possible. A very creative pistol round. Not many teams would dare to go through the small door like that. We'll see if they can snowball that success.
I thought it was actually over when Joba gets the wall up. Like I thought that was actually really well positioned, and Joba just couldn't escape, didn't get out.
Austy Frosty, he's in a good angle right here. That is the clone. No mistake. Just a bit of prodding thus far. Good flash. He doesn't get cleared. That's 1. Give him 2. Austy Frosty's good for him.
Stop giving him chances. Stop giving him opportunities, man. He'll take them every single time. Adjustment needed, but Giza through the wall tracks the first shot and then the second. All of that. 3. It's an unlikely retake, but with Austy Frosty still alive, you never count them out, but now maybe you should. Joba. Same position.
Position is critical here, though. I mean, it just puts so much pressure on Joba. He's got to hit the no scope, and Wildfire will just spam with the Guardian. Nicely done. A close cut, though, for Maryville. I mean, they're not going to carry a ton over for this bonus round. 2 Guardians. Do they buy all the way into this? No. No. Okay, good. I was gonna say I don't think they quite have the economy for that one.
I'm not a hater of the if you lose a lot of players on the second round to just full invest third.
If you have the money for it, I agree. They didn't save as much money as they would need to do that though. So they'll just carry. I mean, one Phantom's not gonna break the bank. Now it's just a question of can they actually bonus. And Tamu, I'm looking at this composition. And I'm thinking, man, the Astra really has to do some heavy lifting. Like, the Astra has to do so much work in this comp to control the map. It's a bit unreal.
Fake teleport.
Yeah, I listen, at the same time, and maybe I'm going crazy here, but we just got done talking about Naber's ability to lock down a site.
I mean, it's very nice being able to put those sound sensors in, but you see how passive you have to place those, right? Like, you can't force them up. And you don't really get choke points with the sound sensors or with the grav nets here. Not critical ones. Not ones that you can take advantage of as the defense. So I'm not sold on it just yet.
I'm not either. I'm live as we watch. Just keeping an open mind, if you will. We're going to see a similar setup for Maryville as the pistol round. Basically, just going to wait and make this move together. 0 point goes in to clear out some of those closer ranged angles. And now the continuation of that, it's Naber removed without much of a problem.
I just realized it's not even Naber on the deadlock.
No, that's what I was saying at the beginning.
Wow.
Yeah, it's Naber on the Vice.
Man, I should learn to use my ears sometime.
Listen,
This is a truly tricky retake too. I mean, this just feels nightmarish. What util do you have to get you in here? Like a recon dart that'll get shot?
And even if you do, yeah, goodbye, Osty Frosty. We'll see you next round. Pink Chilling going to continue to force their way through. Joba, it's one before removed. This is, I mean, good trading, but Giza's in the power position. Like, he wins this round just by not moving, but he moves forward, takes the first contact. Now Pink Chilling can this at least maybe. Unfortunately, he was the one to go down first and foremost. KHS was quick to follow. And even if Anj goes down to KHS, that's a round lost for Tamu.
And I mean, that was a bonus round conversion, too, right? Like, Tamu had the superior firepower. And even then, the retake just feels so dicey.
So, the thing I noticed, the big key that I noticed in that round is how passive, you mentioned at the beginning, how passive Tamu were playing towards A.
Well, and it's really awkward because you're running a double Sentinel and Astra comp, right? Like, this is a composition where, in a vacuum, this comp is meant to hold sites. But people don't really hold sites very much on Abyss. You hold sites by fighting, right? And I'm not convinced that this comp is really built to do that. I mean, right now it's an eco round, so...
It's a big map that requires you defensively to take space.
Exactly, or to give space and go for a retake. And I don't see this composition as capable of doing either of those things comfortably.
Yeah, it's the Sova that has to be involved with that in a big way. And I think we saw some of the weaknesses in that last round. That said, like I mentioned before, keeping an open mind, we'll see what we got moving forward.
I will say, you just really rely on Osty Frosty and KHS succeeding together.
Got to be that duo for sure. Naber hitting one. I mean, they're all going to be here by the time everybody's on to the site for the hit, but it's a great flash coming out of Rins. And with Chloric's help, they clean it all.
30 seconds left.
Nobody left here.
And I mean, you can just see the difference in compositions right now. Maryville can turn any corner they want by just chucking one tiny little flash at it, right? One KO flash, one Yoru flash. Just chuck one. A paranoia even, right? They can turn any corner they want. They can fight wherever they want. Any part of the map they decide is theirs is theirs. Unless, Tam, you do something ridiculous with their guns, which is always a possibility.
I mean, we saw a lot of that on Bind, to be fair. So it's never out of the realm of possibility, but yeah, we're on its face. This is a very, very difficult uphill battle for Tamu. But another gun round coming up. And okay, I mean, this is Joba trying to get that activity going.
KHS is going fishing.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think he got a little nibble got a tag, but
Yeah, one tag from the Hunter's Fury. Do you feel like that's worth it?
no, I don't.
No, exactly.
I mean, I'm what I'm seeing there is so much trying to gather that info that is so difficult with this comp.
Yeah.
You had an aggressive Joba on the deadlock, tossing forward utility, had a grab net, I think, that was tossed in, just hoping to see if there's somebody aggressive there. And that comboed, you know, if they had gotten somebody in the grab net, then that Hunter's Fury would have been good.
And Dimensional Drift, I mean, just clears out everything. All the sound sensors, every bit of util that you waited for on the site to be the thing that catches Maryville off guard is gone. Now you're just hoping you maybe spam somebody through, like, heaven up here. I mean, being chilling good for one from tower.
And crucially, the spike dropped for a moment.
Paranoia's a bit early here, too, from Ange. Is just trying to force them back so that the spike can get planted, but now you don't have that to keep them away.
Pull them to their grave.
Ooh, Annihilation.
Whiffed.
Well, yeah. Could have denied the spike plant, though. That would have made things very dicey indeed. Ange is coming in for a flip. This is so nasty. Oh, just turns on a dime. Does Frosty Frosty, though.
It's a slaughter. See, and like, how do you turn that corner with this composition? KHS is trying to play off you, but he can't see the right angle to assist you there. Just has to go back and save the gun. I mean, Renz can play that far forward because there's no threat. There is no threat of getting flashed. Until you see a star dropped at your feet, there's no threat of getting turned. There's no way for TAMU to be proactive. There's no way for TAMU to be a threat. They just have to hope that Maryville walks into bad situations, and Maryville is too disciplined of a team for that.
Especially too disciplined on this map. Like, I think that they're a team that could certainly be outmaneuvered on some of their less stellar maps, but this isn't one of them.
Here.
But
I don't see what this comp does on attack either.
I don't either yet, but we're not there. I will
if you
say,
get the site, great. Like, you just chuck all this utility on the site and it becomes a nightmare. But that first part feels not guaranteed. Not by a long shot.
I have a
And
theory.
already Ren's just uber quick through vent.
I'll hold on.
Smoke
to
goes up. Yeah, this is tough. TAMU. I mean, Joba good for one. It is an eco, right? So you just kind of go looking for some guns. But the problem is, like, Maryville have won 5 in a row. So it doesn't matter if you get rid of 4 guns here. Like they have plenty of money.
Yeah, they're like max probably on a couple. I didn't actually look, but so confident was I in their economy. And the paranoia comes in to make it very difficult. Though KHS, hold
Wait,
on
he got
a
a rifle.
second. You got them all. Frosty pops the Blade Storm, and Blade Storm is gonna clean them up. This is the first round that TAMU get. It's like this.
All right. I mean, yeah. Where did KHS get that rifle from? Where did he get that?
I don't actually know. He didn't have access to one.
He did not give him a rifle. They got the Thrifty in the Valorant client. Who gave him that? Why did you? Man, bizarre. Yeah, don't give him a rifle. KHS too clean with it. And I mean, but the problem is you need to do that every round, right? Like KHS needs to catch him off guard like that every single round. Which, I mean, again, the success of this defense is going to depend on Frosty Frosty and KHS. So if they can do that round after round, then fair enough. I'll eat my words. But we need to see that happen and not a Thrifty.
It feels like we got to get back to like our Valorant roots here with like some setup with this jet, you know, ascent style forward positioning, you know, and fights. Nabert, doesn't even get to take that duel on the back foot for it. Being chilling, just gonna creep away. He knows that his position is a dicey one.
But KHS, you gotta stop, man. If he gets the second one here, I'll screw. Ah!
Oh,
Okay. There we go.
Yeah, but listen, he gets 2, and that's great. But also, he had so much utility. He had an owl drone. He had the recon and 2 shock darts. Like, he had so much that could have allowed them to get back in here. Now, it's very difficult for Joba and for Austie Frosty.
I mean, oh, Joba's going to get spotted by the recon dart, too. That doesn't help. Anj with a beautiful swing, getting rid of the assistance. No pinch on him, and no hope for TAMU in that round.
Where did Tamu go from here? That's a legitimate question. I
Sunset.
Yeah, I'll pose my idea at an answer, but I don't even think this is a real answer. I'm doubling down on. I need to see all like Ascent style. Get Austie Frosty in forward positions to take fights.
It's not easy though, because what
setup?
maybe
Yeah,
you get a grav for that, right?
I mean,
But then
you've
you've used a star and on a very stark maybe, right?
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm not
recon
saying I
dart?
love it.
Maybe, right?
I'm just saying it's like Tamu have clearly been trying to find ways to get those more forward positions to try and take space and define map control, but none of that's really worked for them.
And I feel like this is just a little bit too cooking of a comp. This is one of those things where Abyss is such a map where it's so hard to get to maintain map control, site control, to keep attacking teams off of the site. I feel like TAMU have thought to themselves, well, if we can do that though, then the attacking team has nothing. But even with a comp like this, it just feels nigh impossible. I mean, look how much of a threat Renz is, and all he has to do is just bounce back and forth in the middle of the map.
He's just walked up here too. It's been, I mean, not free, but very close to it. Hunter's Fury goes forward, trying to clear them out. Somehow Nabers doesn't get tagged by that. Naber making it very difficult. Gonna start locking him down. Too strong.
30 seconds.
I mean, the alt's good, but even then, it only works on people you actually catch in it.
And even though this is an advantage for Tamu, it's not one that is guaranteed. Being chilling is the key.
Last player standing.
Nice flank. Throwing a wrench in the gears. A nice round. That did cost the Steel Garden though, right? And I mean, what an insane alt, by the way. The Vice alt is very good. I mean, having to swap to your classics there. I mean, it really doesn't matter how many players are around that corner. Naber is gonna get them all anyways.
When I saw it, when it first got released, I read it. I'm like, oh, so we're just getting silly.
Yeah, it really does feel like just a silly alt.
That was my first reaction.
It's good, but not so insanely good that it's overpowered and everyone's playing 5. But it's just oh, well, you've used that. Okay, fine.
It feels the same as ISO. Hey, 1v1 me, bro.
Yeah,
it's the same vibe, actually.
It is a very similar vibe. At least thanks to that gun round win, Tamu will be able to piece together another round with rifles here. Hunter's Fury available as well. So Tamu, they could look to make some dents on this defending side.
You know, if they get 4 rounds, I'm here for it. Hunter's Fury.
Hunter's Fury a little bit early again, I feel like. I mean, catching him up the ramp, good for a kill though. Yeah, I take it back. That was well timed from KHS. He knows what he's doing with that. Naber, don't you dare go for another swing. How does he get away with that?
Oh, he got back.
No, Frosty took his head off.
I saw somebody falling and I was like, wait, hold on.
It was the corpse, don't worry.
Yeah.
And this is kind of how TAMU have been wanting to play this composition, right? Fight a little bit, make them go into the Sentinel utility, and have it work. And the question is, will it continue to do so? Not so much, because Maryville just pumped the brakes, come back with a null command, and you've lost too many players. The problem is, in those early engagements, TAMU have to get through them flawlessly. You need all 5 players to stay alive, because otherwise, I mean, you saw it, Joba had to leave, now he's getting spotted, and I mean, Joba, you're just pretty cooked from here, buddy. I don't know.
Oh, he's just getting toyed with by Rens. Disgusting.
Yeah, and
It
even the
was-
TP out. Ren's not going for anything risky here, not giving Joba an opportunity to clutch.
I mean, and
Joba been a little bit quieter this series, but last year, especially in spring, Joba was absolutely insane in some very pivotal rounds.
It's just giving me further confirmation, though. My worry at the beginning of the series, I mentioned when we talked about the veto, that Tamu had to win on bind. They do that, and it's wonderful to see them still. I mean, you mentioned that we hadn't seen that much bind from them actually in this NECC season. Good to see that they're still very confident and competent on that map.
Yeah.
But Abyss was always going to be difficult, and I think we're seeing why.
And not much in the tank here for Tamu. It's getting late enough into the half. The lost round bonus will start stacking up. Might as well commit what economy you can. Finally, Osty Frosty going for a bit more of an aggressive fight, but forced off of it already. And Ren's just dunks on him. No 30 bomb for you this time, Osty.
I mean, there is the question that I was asking, you know, get more aggressive, but you asked a very valid counterpoint, which was how to set it up. And
Yeah.
we got a clear answer right there, that there just wasn't
You don't. Yeah, you can't.
There
There's
just
not
wasn't
enough.
any.
Throughout Valorant's history, there have been very few times where a team has run a composition without flashes, and I've gone, oh wait, this comp is really good actually. Most of the time, I just think to myself, well, they're not going to be able to do much on their own terms.
Sometimes that can be okay. Other times, not so much. And a Maryville team that, I mean, they're a team that set the terms of these engagements so very well. They're never going to be giving Tamu advantage rules. AHS forcing his way back in, trying to get something, but once Maryville
This
gets the
Cosmic
spike
Divide
down,
doesn't even get you control of the site. It doesn't even keep Maryville off. That's one of the other problems with running the Astra here. Is it's not perfect. I think Chilling at least good for one. I think that's going to be the upgrade for him too. Hang on. Maryville, I think they've given up a little bit too much ground here.
One enemy remaining.
oh, Joba! Oh my goodness, it's so clean! Half
That was
the head.
perfectly timed. Perfectly timed from him and Bing Chilling too. Half stuck. Wait for the swing. You know it's coming. And then a little mini high-low as Joba was crouching behind him. Very nicely done. The mechanics of these TAMU players still excellent. Just like we were saying about Maryville when they were getting a little trounced on map number 1, right? So make no mistake, if you give TAMU opportunities, they can take them. And Maryville, I'm just a little bit confused on why they backed up so much. I mean, I know a couple players were low on health, but still, you imagine it was what, 2v4 there, right?
Yeah, it was. Also, listen, as much as that Cosmic Divide doesn't give you that much space, it also does cut off a lot of angles. I feel like it could have been more aggressive, but hey, it worked out. Huh?
Okay.
Joba? He was so far. There wasn't
bizarre.
a recon? Someone check him, PC.
And now we see this composition actually be really annoying to play against, because when you lose your entry like that, and you can't just teleport past all of the Sentinel utility, you can't just dimensional drift, you can't just flash and run in, things get a little bit trickier when you're trying to go against Redlock, when you have to consider where the Razor Vines might be.
Here.
Maryville have always been good with playing this information game, though. Yeah, and they know that somebody's got to be watching here. They're going to try and flood in onto Nabber. Nabber, can he get away? No, not quite. Oh, and that's going to show that the B-side is up for grabs.
30 seconds
Frosty
left.
Frosty, though, can drop down onto the back of the site, make it very difficult as long as he plays around this utility well. Oh, but just not the weapon for the job. Guardian there, not great. AHS gonna quickly, swiftly move in. I'm gonna cut Wildfire off. Hold on a second. No, Wildfire is so darn good. You might be on the Sova right now, but typically the Duelist, and showing off some of that aim.
Great timing from Wildfire. KHS knew it was coming too, but he knew he just had to try and make some sort of play. Bing Chilling and Joba, they were great on the clutch over here before. That's 2 already for Joba. Annihilation at the ready, too. Spike tapped, Annihilation. Going through, that's 1 tag on Bing Chilling. He's got to dodge the second, and he does. But there goes his buddy. And it feels like the jig is up.
One enemy remaining.
Jig is gotta be up. Shock Dart, gonna tag him. And Wildfire doesn't overstep. Doesn't commit when he doesn't have to, only at the last moment.
Last
Or
round
to deny
in
the
the half.
defuse. 8-3, and it's the last round in the first half that we move forward with.
A valiant effort there from Joba and Bing Chilling. Unfortunately, the Joba couldn't get anything out of the Annihilation. I think if he could have gotten, I mean, especially if he gets Clerk, but even if he gets that first fight, he won anyways versus Giza. I think that puts a lot more pressure on Maryville to take bad fights. Either way, not good guns here.
It feels like
for Tamu.
miracles have to happen, though, for Tamu to win rounds right now.
Exactly, and you can't win an entire map of Valorant off of miracles. Something else has to give.
And this is a really punchy exit.
Ooh.
We actually haven't seen an execute at all this whole half from Maryville.
Oh my.
See? Okay. Tracking it through the smoke. That's the spike drop down as well. Aussie Frosty, he's got miracles aplenty, and he's about to be showing us one more. 3, maybe 4. Oh my goodness, there it is. Giza just making himself hard to hit. Not hard enough.
No, Giza's here at the tailwind, and he's like, oh, where is he? Where is he? Oh, God. He's just trying to find him. He doesn't know if he's above or below or whatever. I mean, that... Another round where it feels like... That round felt like less of a miracle, admittedly, because it felt like Maryville were just... Like, the one thing you can't do into Tamu's comp is go for those sorts of hard executes, because you need to clear the util, because you need to find the defenders, right? So, I think Maryville lost the plot a little bit in the last round, but still an excellent attacking half overall. I think Maryville, outside of that one round where they're just like, hey, let's get the half over with, let's get this map over with,
Look at the way
really
it is,
well disciplined, very good job of manipulating the map and punishing this composition that relies a little bit too heavily on keeping the sights. Now we swap things up and we have to see Tamu, how do you make this work on attack?
Yeah, all those issues that we just got done talking about for the defense relied
triple.
around not being able to take space defensively. Now you have to do it the whole time, every time, all
You
the
literally
time.
just have to rely on Austie Frosty to be a monster.
Which, thinking back to mine, maybe that's a good call. I shouldn't have spoken.
Yeah.
That's
That is your fault, not his.
Yep. My bad. I'm gonna write a strongly worded letter saying I'm very sorry. It's my fault.
Nice little catch from Chloric, too. Tucked inside vent between the doors. Looking for more. And gets the information that Bing Chilling's on his way. Bing, you don't want to lose the spike there. You don't want to lose the spike in vent. Maybe chill for a second while Joba... Ooh, Joba's got a good timing here, too.
Kill confirmed.
And this does uncomplicate things a little bit, but
30 seconds.
let's not pretend that
Spike down
Tamu are
A.
in good position. Naber hits a trade frag, and now the flank's starting to come through. Oh, Joba tracks him down as that smoke not enough to provide coverage. Now they should be able to get the spike plant.
Last player
They
standing.
will.
Too
but-
many angles.
Yeah, Joba is so worried about everything. And now it's got to be Naber in the clutch. Oh, yuck.
Already getting dinked from so far. You're cooked. You're
One
done.
enemy remaining.
I mean, Renz is good for one. Has to be a headshot for Naber here, though. Didn't quite get it. Oh, come on, Naber. How do you make that happen? That's just dirty.
So, are you ready to talk about the miracle workers that are Texas A&M? Well,
Not quite yet. Look, the Arc Rose worked well as a flash there. I'm still waiting to see it be used anywhere else that gives Tamu an advantage. That is literally the first time I'm even seeing the Vice, like, quote-unquote flash this whole game. I have not noticed that be used literally any other time. So if Naber can keep that up, then maybe we're looking at something. Maybe Austin Frosty won't be in quite as bad of a spot as I anticipated. But KHS already gets domed, and that's not great.
yeah, out before some of that utility can get activated up on top of heaven. And
Eyes down.
I mean, this is
Okay.
a very committed move towards B,
Sensor trigger.
which I can respect. I think that you have some advantages in this round. Tamu need some statement rounds. This is the way to do it.
Last player standing.
Okay. Good to have such a solid anti-eco from Tamu Clark with the Spectre here. It is worth noting, I did see the Marshall for Maryville. So, how much did they invest in their economy here? And how much can they take away? I mean, that's already a nice drop there. But I don't think Clark has the health to make this really happen. Even more damage would be very difficult. Yeah, Osteoporosis got his number. So Tamu on their way back to actually a surprisingly close series if they can manage to make something happen in the next 2 rounds.
I mean, I think this is already closer than it probably should have been. That's what I was saying. At the end of the half, you look back and look at how competitive the end of the half was.
Yeah.
Like-
And it is worth noting, you know, we were picking a lot on Tamu's composition for, like, how the heck do you attack with this composition? Vise is one, like, considered the, like, most aggressive sentinel of all of them, right? And looking at the other side of things, I've never really liked a Yoru on defense, so maybe more opportunity than I anticipated at first.
I do think the Yoru has some weaknesses here. Weaknesses that we saw against Winthrop in the game we casted.
Oh. That's so much damage. I mean, KHS is basically... No way you go for this, Osti.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, no.
That's what you get. That's what you get.
Is it bad that I wanted it to work?
One enemy remaining.
Yes.
It is. My bad.
It is bad you wanted it to work. And I'm glad that Aussie Frosty got turned into Swiss cheese. You can't do that against Maryville, man.
No,
You
no.
can't do that against Maryville.
I mean, you're right, but I just wanted it. I wanted you to be wrong.
And look how they spent a little money on that round too. It's not even a full gun round now. Like, that was a round where I think Tamu could have had some more real chances.
It did kind of feel like they were
look,
tossing their eggs in
it-
one basket.
It got off to a little bit of a rocky start, especially, I mean, KHS took a ton of damage. 3 of them got spotted on the 0 point, and they just commit to this absolute goober of a plan.
Yeah,
Like, come
the
on.
0 point especially probably should have been the time to call that off.
And Bing Chilling is taking contact at long range with the Sheriff and the Spike.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Bless his heart.
Yeah.
Oh,
You could-
that almost hit.
You can just toss that in the back, you know? Temporarily put it down back there.
Tamu very uncommittal about what they want to try and accomplish now.
Well,
But, I
they
mean,
took-
they're spread around the map, but Maryville are getting good info. They know, hey, there's one over here, there's one over there.
Oh, and look at the reclear.
And they've re-cleared A main. Yeah, exactly. So now they know, hey, guys, it's not A.
So the B hit's coming, but it's going to be quick. They're going to have the ability to get back in here. That being said, Austin tracks one down. Rins is 1 for 1, and the site is theirs. Texas A&M, they've got a real good chance at this in the post plant. Naber's going to be playing to cut off rotations, though those rotations a little bit slow, actually, considering how early they knew it was B.
His timing here is so pivotal. Naber, okay, he spots them, but he's not able to get anything. Low health across the way, too. The Annihilation is up. The grid still has to be dispersed of, so solid chances here for Tamu, but some low health. And that Spike, I don't know about that plant spot for certain members spamming. There goes KHS, too. This is not done and dusted.
Annihilation, though, gonna be grabbed in death. Oh my goodness, and can't be denied either. Oh, beautiful, beautiful end to that round.
I mean, he just Joba just used the Annihilation as a shotgun. he just ran at them and said, "This'll get one."
You've heard of Shotgun Op, but have you heard of Shotgun Ultimate?
The most ridiculous guys I got mine that I have seen today. That's for sure. But I mean, at the end of the day, it works because you know that the time is running low. Nicely played there by Tamu. And suddenly, I mean, they're within spitting distance of Maryville.
Get out of my way.
And Maryville's money can't be that great. They're gonna have guns this round, but
Jet buffers Tamu's economy too as they're looking to build for the rest of this half. Opening the door, or I love this play. Opening the door early, committing one of the A players over there so that the A site, normally you play 2 on A. A is going to be so vulnerable. Although they take a little bit too long, so the rotate does come in.
Adding a third defender here. They can have that coverage from mid and also strong defense on A. But Joba is going to be the key. He's getting a ton of knowledge. And sure, he's about to be seen, but now he's calling him back in, calling the rotates. He can't die. He needs to not go down here, Joba.
Yeah. And here comes Renz. I don't think you'll expect it. And there goes all of that control, but Tam, you have committed to this side of the map now, too.
There you go. Flash working out that time.
Renz was thinking about going for a quick play, but instead is waiting for the full 5v4. I think that's the right call. Yeah, he's going to spot Osty Frosty, too. Now the flank is given up. Renz is going to clear out so much of this site.
Clearing, he is, comes back in, and Osty Frosty gets the reset on the blades on the back. KHS deals with them on entry. Decent though, moving forward. Still even as they move into the smoke where Nabber plays to perfection, adjusts the spray, and it's all up to Caloric. I've seen this before, but not in this map. It's 8-9, and I think the money is busted for Maryville too.
And I did say it on the in the first half. The one glimmer of hope for TAMU's composition on the attacking side is if they get site control. Well, guess what? What was their worst enemy on the defense, trying to hold site control because it's impossible on Abyss, is now their best friend. Because Maryville, there's nothing they can do about that. TAMU's comp is built to shut down these retakes, even with the power of the Dimensional Drift, even with the ability to scout out where all of the TAMU players are playing from. Maryville, they just can't get in. There's too much that they have to deal with. There's too many things on the map.
Here.
Between the deadlock and the vice and the timing from all the stars as well, the concuss, the Gravwell.
And
it's
then
nightmare fuel.
And then you have Aussie Frosty with the Blade Storm in the back of the site too. Like, it wasn't hard enough. A lot. Too much. I think
Honestly, I'm feeling an MCE timeout soon.
I am too. I think that so probably into this next gun round.
I hope. Otherwise, things get very dicey, I feel.
Texas A&M
And
keeping it slow.
They're willing to take their time.
I mean, this was...
And they have to as well, right? Like, this isn't a composition like Maryville's where you can just force corners. You need to try and play together. Nabber caught out in the open, but the bail is there. And, I mean, Maryville, I thought they had the jump on him, but, I mean, it's a low eco round. I'm not going to fault him for going for something. A little bit of a whiff.
I mean, they had the
It's
jump.
not like they would have won this round even if they killed Nabber.
Yeah.
You know.
They were also literally jumping, so kind of hard to shoot when you're jumping.
Yeah. Well, things get more difficult now. Oh, come on, KHS.
Oh, so we're getting silly. And it's a little silly. I don't actually think Tamu have the econ to be losing those guns, but...
One enemy remaining.
Okay, well.
Yeah, it'll be fine if they don't lose anything further.
Like that.
And they don't.
But suddenly, after what was frankly, I thought an abysmal defending half. I mean, Abyss is hard to defend, don't get me wrong. But for this composition, I thought it was an abysmal defending half.
I can't
Tamu
believe they
are
got
suddenly
4.
tied up. And I'm struggling to see a world where Maryville makes this happen suddenly. They need to give me something here. They've won exactly their anti-bonus. And that's it.
I think I've sighted in on a little bit of a solution, though, for Maryville.
Okay, let's hear it.
I think that they are biting on rotations a little bit too much. I think they can't afford to bite on rotations the way that they were. Because like you said, they can't allow the site to be gone. And so
Well, that's such a difficult prospect, though.
it is, but those aggressive plays that they were thinking of and then not actually taking a couple of rounds ago when the B site was under fire, I think they need to take those aggressive
And
maneuvers.
a strange lapse in judgment. The cam was in the same spot. Joba just gets rid of it. Now things get much easier.
Spike down B.
Well, it's still the early advantage. KHS able to create chaos. Hunter Suri back the other way. The attempt to deny the plant, it's only a temporary denial, though. Should be able to go down without much of a problem afterward, and it will. Now, Maryville, they start at the same problem they've had all the time. How do you get back in against this comp?
Frosty. Is he going to be allowed to get anything? No. Paranoia. Nicely done. Joba's too low, really, to hold on to this as well. Yeah, Cloric's got his number. This is going to be a very doable retake for Maryville. I mean, it really helps that Nabber bit the dust so early. Nicely done by Maryville to get back a lead after only briefly losing it to a tie. And Maryville, I mean, it just goes to show, like, if you're able to pick off Nabber or Joba in the early rounds, that makes things just so, or in the early moments of the half, that makes things so much easier for you. Going against one of those two is very doable, especially considering that Nabber was arguably the more important in that situation because he had the Steel Garden on a hand. So tough stuff for TAMU. I think they pulled the trigger a little bit too early, but I understand why they did once they broke the camera so confidently. That Trap Ryer really slowed them down. Giza was able to cause quite a bit of chaos.
Thought they'd found an avenue of approach on B. Thought they'd kind of seen what was going on, but dealt with in kind. Here's that aggressive stance for Maryville over on the A site.
Love it.
And they're just going to keep going. Nabber, once again, at the forefront, but that paranoia really gives the indication of where this is headed.
I wonder if that's an overcommitment from Maryville. I like the idea of them trying to pounce because TAMU have to dry clear most things. So pouncing on people that dry clear is good. But, I mean, Anj at least gets the early info. It's not unplayable here. But I think there was a world where they could have potentially gotten more out of that. And now TAMU know that was an overextension, that there's a way where they can get the timing here, especially with the garden up.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way back in. Clear out the back of the site. For the most part, that's easy. Wildfire gets his before going down, and I mean, now it's that same post-plant issue where Nabber and Joba both are up.
Nabber has to hit this first shot, though. Cannot go down without a fight. The turn, nice flash, and things get more difficult from there. Giza good for a second already. Not quite a third. Eventually, him and Renz will get it done. Playing off each other, just being careful not to stack up there. And yet another nice round from Maryville, getting out of the site, knowing that the Steel Garden was coming. That play from Anj ends up working. It ends up not being an overcommitment. It ends up being the right amount of commitment. So I'll bite my tongue on that one. Well played, Maryville.
What's the money like for TAMU?
I can't imagine it's good.
Yeah. Ooh, or
it's enough.
It's plenty, I guess. Yeah, pinch and pennies on most, but
Spectre light armor for Joba.
I mean, what that does mean though is that this is the must-win round. Lose this round and map probably done.
You are divided.
Oh, and already we see a very aggressive play here. Just completely walling this off. Someone's got to watch that though. That door is breakable.
Spike down B.
What the? What?
Oh.
The spike? Renz just walks up and gets the spike?
Yeah.
Hello?
I can't believe what I just saw.
Oh, it's all falling apart.
I cannot believe what I just saw. I thought Renz was an attacker for a second. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, and KHS, you've clutched a lot in this team's history, but I feel like he's done. He's going to turn the corner straight into Giza, who gets out of there. Doesn't want to fight. Knows that Renz is there for help. And that's, I mean, almost assuredly the map. What a bizarre play from Tam. That felt like an audible from TAMU. I can't fathom any sort of read they had. Like, guys, if we get through the middle of the map really quickly, they'll have nowhere to go. But they don't have anyone go help the spike play. It wasn't even a full, like, 5-player through mid. The spike was left on alone. If you're pushing from their spawn, they have no choice but to go forward. They're obviously gonna go fight the spike there. Like, that was the only thing Renz could do.
Puzzling. Very puzzling. TAMU now starting to lack options. Clark crept up on. I thought maybe Aussie Frost is going to force the issue through that fragment. Doesn't take that opportunity. Instead gets spotted out by the Owl drone. There's still a lot of space that's been taken, but at a heavy cost for Tamu.
Nova dying on the flank. AHS trying to make an opening. Him and Aussie Frosty trading rather well, but yet the other flank player falls. And Maryville just going to creep this out. I love this. They know that it's likely going to go B because of where Austie was last spotted. Austie has no health too, so Giza has the contact. There's no good options for Tamu.
Enemy remaining.
Giza so clean on that, being chilling. 1v3, Spike on his back. On the cam, that's gonna give it away, but just delay. That's what
you don't
Cypher
expect
can
two
have.
from your right here.
Yeah, one, maybe you could make that call, but two, certainly not. And the move around the site going to delay that, but the inevitable comes in the form of Cloric's headshot. It's 13-9 as we head into the third map. That is, it wasn't as dominant as I thought, but it was an Abyss that clearly had some weaknesses that Tamu couldn't get over.
Yeah. And Maryville, I mean, yes, it looked a little bit concerning when they were starting to lose the thread on their defense, but they didn't even need a timeout to readjust, right? MCE didn't even have to get in there. Maryville on their own just were like, oh, wait, guys, our comp's built for fighting. Let's do that. Yeah. Let's fight them before they get the site. I mean, that's how we win these. And once they flipped that switch, it just did not even feel close. I get why Tamu are trying to make this comp work, right? They want the deadlock. It's fun. It's innovative. Certainly, I think they need quite a few more reps on it before I would be willing to call this a composition that can be played on Abyss comfortably, especially considering, I mean, again, Tamu had not played Abyss at all in NECC coming up to today. So, bold for Tamu to try and pull this out. And it will not favor them. 13-9 on Bind, 13-9 traded back for Maryville. A very nice map for them.
Yeah, and it's a continuation of what Renz was doing. Remember, Renz in the losing effort was at the forefront. Now in the winning effort as well at the forefront with 25 kills and 7 opening duels as well. Like 7 first bloods. This time on the duelist, so that makes a little bit more sense. But the Yoru, I mean, is a duelist that doesn't really fit the same role as your typical duelist. So honestly, that's still impressive that Renz is able to pull that off. It did feel like Maryville just, it was a matter of understanding the sort of rock, paper, scissors of what Tamu can't do with the comp they have, and then finding the right solution.
And not only that, but I think Renz is, like, yes, is an absolute fragger, don't get me wrong, 7 first kills, 317 ACS, you know, it's all great, but I think it's really important when you're on the Yoru to know when to frag and to know when that's not your job, right? Like,
yes.
the most important, or the most impressive thing I think Renz did today was the due diligence on every single flash. Renz was never flashing just to go for one tiny little fight into 3 people where he wanted to pick, right? Renz is always waiting. You saw the teleports were used pretty much exclusively to get Renz away from fights he didn't want to take. And then the dimensional drift, the flashes, all bring Renz back into the action alongside the rest of the team. That's exactly how Maryville find their path to victory on map number 2. And now, Vincent, we go to Sunset. Man, it feels like anybody's game. I mean, it's been 13-9 both ways. Both these teams wanted to go to Sunset as map number 3. Oh boy.
Yeah, Sunset, it's the middle ground that we expected it to be, I think. We knew Bind is firmly in Tamu's camp. We knew Maryville have been very confident on their Abyss. Now we head to a Sunset that I think both teams feeling confident on.
Oh yeah.
The question is, who will come out on top? This is a playoff match as well. And listen, with a lower bracket there, it's not elimination, but obviously a very much easier avenue to the upper bracket. Map 3 coming up right after this break.
Oh man, this is incredible.
Oh, wow.
Huh?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Hey man, grab me a meat stick. I think I can reach it if I just a little more. Just let me go a little. I can't. Just a little more. I almost got it. Careful! Oh, God. No. Come on, just reach. Reach. Just grab my hand. I can't hold it. Grab my hand.
Give me the meat stick. This other hand's closer. The one with the stick is. Oh.
Oh, what an awesome day for a pump, dude.
Yeah, I gotta take it easy. Doc says if I exert myself, I will die.
You overexert yourself, you will die.
I'll tell you what, you finish the workout, all these could be yours. That looks good. A little bit of honey ham for the ham. Get after it, and that's your, nope, get after it, and that's your treat. Stay, do the exercise, do the work, then you get the reward. That's how this works, man. You gotta give it max effort, maximum effort. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Big hams. Make it work, those hams. Work 'em. Putting in the work. Yeah, baby. Yes. Dude, this is a spicy workout. Gotta make it worth it. Building the beef and bringing home the bacon, baby. I'm loving it. Teriyaki is just about within your reach. Come on, get you some. Come on. Ooh, ooh. Maximum effort. Maximum effort. You're there. You're almost there.
That's probably worth it.
What do you make of this up here? Just showed up in the yard a couple days ago.
Dog been digging in there?
I don't think so, dude. That goes way down in there. Seriously, did you just lose your meat stick?
Yeah.
Oh, no. There's something in there, dude. Just leave it.
Are you kidding me?
We'll just head to us. Just leave it.
The hell with that.
Oh, yeah. There's something in there.
Come on, Lynn.
Thank you.
It was worth it.
I gotta say, it's a privilege to get this game, man. This is
yeah.
absolutely fantastic. A third map required, and back-to-back 13-9s too. This tees us up so perfectly for Sunset. Paul, I gotta ask this question.
Yeah.
What do you think the most important, whether it's specific to Sunset or player, what is the most important factor that you think is coming into this game, this map?
I think comfortability is going to be a big thing for either of our teams, because I think both teams have been experimenting, at least somewhat, with their Sunset comp. We've seen both these teams not pin down just one solo Sunset comp that they've run throughout our NECC fall. Now, Maryville have had a little bit more consistency. They've just debated whether or not they want to run the Rays or the Neon. The Neon's been what they've opted to recently. Been a bit up and down for them, so we'll see how they carry forward here. I mean, the Neon's certainly the most modern version of the composition that they are running, I would argue. Whereas for TAMU, it's been a little bit all over the road. They've tried the Neon, Gecko, Breach, Cypher, Omen, just a bunch of Rays at times, right? A bunch of different stuff piecemealed together. So I think especially coming off of a loss for TAMU, getting every individual on agents that they are super comfortable with is going to be very important here. Whereas Maryville, I don't think are going to have that problem as much, because most of their comp they've had on lock. A lot of these guys can flex very well. They're very comfortable playing almost anything under the sun. So I give a slight edge to Maryville here, but I don't think anything is very clear cut, especially after what we've seen the last 2 maps.
Yeah, I mean, so what I'm hearing is that it's important for Temu to feel that comfort that they felt on Bind, that they had seen there, that we had been seeing. And I gotta say, I am a big fan of the neon on this map. I think that is best. I don't know, that is a feeling based statement instead of a reality based statement. But I am also
I think
surprised
it is
to
reality.
see a mirror. That was not
we
what
have
I
our
had on the
first-
bingo card.
Yeah, we have our first mirror of the day. I mean, this is the composition that both these teams have run most recently on Sunset. And for Maryville, most frequently as well. That being said, I mean, if you're looking across, I think both duelists are going to be very comfortable. I mean, KHS Chlorus, both Sovers are going to be very comfortable. I think Wildfire is a phenomenal breach player. Nabber will be fine, but Wildfire is phenomenal. So if any player in the lobby has a slight advantage on comfortability here, I would give it to Wildfire. But honestly, everybody in the lobby is on those comfortable picks. Everybody is in the lobby on almost the agent I would associate with them at this point.
Yeah.
So, I mean, mirror comps, last map, both the prior maps, the one who picked it 113.9, it should be as good as it can get.
I think the irony is Rins and Aussie Frosty, the only two that maybe not fitting that mold for me. So, see how those neons shape up. It's the neon of Rins that first to fall in this map. Final of the series. It's great timing on that aftershock. Unfortunately, it doesn't save Giza's life. The spike goes down, but it's very tentative. Anj is able to help clear them off, but Aussie Frosty on a big move. The right click successful, but it's all up to Anj. The 1v2. And the clutches were all for Tamu in the first map. It's not going to start with one from Maryville in the third.
Nice pacing there from Tamu. They realized the pistol round, the neon is not as much of a threat on the pistol round, because even if you can't hit that very first instant headshot, the neon's not going to kill you in one shot either, most likely, right? So you're able to fight a little bit more. Tamu don't give up back sight control. They don't let Rens walk out, and it gives them a very quick staging ground to get back into the action and to kind of slip through that utility that Maryville was throwing in like the aftershock. So nicely done by Tamu. They'll get a chance to take the first real lead here, as long as they can make sure that this anti-eco goes swimmingly. Austy's got to be a little bit careful here. A couple of shares spot, and I think that's going to be Austy's head taken off nice and quick. Good work from Renz.
Renz offering up what he was dealt in round number 1. This is such an ambitious spot for being chilling with this weapon.
Well, and if you die here, you give a judge over. Even if you get 2, that's dangerous.
It is, but this is better. Falling back into that smoke, that's the winning strategy, or it should have been. Giza tracks him down, a headshot through. Renz continues forward, and the A site, it falls. It's entirely gone. And what hope does Joba have, Paul, to get in with a stinger?
Great pace from Maryville. I love the way Maryville plays with when they do and don't commit. I mean, sneaking away that one, baiting Tamu a little bit forward, but not fully committing to the fight until you know you have a good angle. I mean, with a stinger, what do you hope to do here? Good for 1, but it costs you most of your health, Arjoba. I mean, a body shot from the sheriff or the judge that's coming all the way around. Either one is good.
One enemy remaining.
Ren's low, though. And
Oh, you gotta turn around. If you turn around, Joba wins. He's gonna tap the spike, too. Timing there is so unfortunate.
just a lot of utility that Wildfire can put into place. And as a breach that we've spoken so highly of, he's not gonna be making mistakes when he's got the utility advantage there.
Really nicely played by Wildfire. Just letting the time run out on Joba. The aftershock to stall, the fault line. The fault line doesn't even stop Joba from going for the defuse. It just literally slows him down. So it takes longer to defuse, and there's not enough time for Joba to both win the fight and get the spike. Nicely done. The anti-eco flipped on its head for the first time this series. Maryville not giving Tamu anything.
And the worst part is about that for Tamu is that I don't even think that was really the full investment. Like Maryville had some tools, but they didn't have everything.
Oh yeah, they had what, 1, 2 sheriffs?
Yeah, they were ecoing really.
It was really just Tamu a bit too eager to fight, a bit too eager to like, hey, we have to win the round early. We can't wait and rely on our weapon advantage.
I'm gonna be real though, that Giza shot he tracks through the smoke onto the judge, like that is just.
Yeah, I mean that is
like what do you do if you're being chilling? You just cry. You cry in the corner. That's all you can.
I mean, he might be doing more of that right now.
Huh?
Chopra good for 1. What is going on here, guys?
Is that
Maryville, can we take control of this round, please? Giza, good swing, please. Thank you.
That was really good swing, actually. Just as a duo, that double up, one clears left, one clears right. The flash to coordinate. It's
still 3v3.
I know, but okay.
He just has a guardian.
Yeah, well, I thought the spike could go down, but I just realized the spike is in B main. Hold on, wait.
Okay. AHS biting off a bit more than he can chew, and Renz can reposition. The spike will be able to get planted now.
One enemy remaining.
Especially as Austin Frosty accidentally, I think he actually walled off his buddy there too. Tried to use the fast lane to get himself on site, but it actually cut off line of sight from Joba. So a little bit unfortunate there.
I think though 2 kills plus you pulled out the neural theft. It's not a huge value ultimate, but
a perfectly fine round for TAMU considering they lost the second round.
Mm-hmm. With what they had, which is classics, I think you could call that a dub.
But now we get the first real gun round. Still on round 4, fascinatingly enough. Usually when an anti-eco gets flipped, it gets delayed a little bit, but it's fine.
Yeah, TAMU not interested in like fighting for that lost ground by forcing in themselves.
Oh, Bing Chilling just completely caught. I mean, you gotta be ready for the Neon to do something like that. I think he was in the smoke animation too.
So
here comes
fast.
the overdrive. I can't imagine Joba lives here.
I mean, Joba had no clue until the stun came through from his backside. Now Ren's gonna be a little disappointed that he didn't maintain control of Boba, but I mean, they'll be okay with that. Hunter's Fury gets popped, and it's sure making Naber's life difficult, but ultimately, I don't even really think it gets much of anything done. Not even a tag. Rins holds the line. Triple kill out of Rins. And it seems like we've not seen anything different from Rins all series long. He's been so effective. No matter what agent he's been on.
You gotta go.
That's 4 for him in the round.
And I mean,
And
that
only
goes
one
back-
of those was with the ult, so he's already almost halfway back to the next one, which is nasty.
It goes back to what you were saying, actually leading up to this map, which is that Maryville, just as a whole, have a lot of flexibility in their players. Like, they can play just about any comp you can imagine with these 5.
I mean, the only player who really sticks to one thing is Anj, and it's like 90% of the time the Omen, which works almost anywhere.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
everybody else can
just
play
meta.
quite a variety. Yeah, and exactly.
And I think Anj just played like Astra too, so
Yeah.
Like,
Not inflexible, just a heavy
exactly.
preference.
and he's just
Already
good
some.
at it.
I mean, that's a get. I mean, you don't get much out of that from Maryville, which is a little unfortunate here. But at the same time, TAMU have thus far just been abandoning mid entirely. Like, it is door getting closed, smoke getting put up, and just good luck. Like, look where Austin Frosty is playing right now because they have so little information. He's literally going back to their own spawn.
It's sort of okay to do this if it weren't for the fact Maryville had figured this out by round 4. Like, if they aren't getting that info, if you aren't losing that space, if it's just a question mark on the map, it's sort of okay, but it's never that question. It's always a certainty for Maryville.
And really nice work from the rest of Maryville there, anticipating the fault line coming out on this eco round, anticipating that would be back for Naber, and that they'd try to make a play off of that. They bail Renz out of what could have been an otherwise dicey situation. Being chilling good for 1. And actually a player heard here. Oh, Naber. Oh, okay, eventually he gets there.
I mean, every little bit of damage done is actually huge. Shoba just tossing bullets down range into the dark cover. Isn't going to be winning anything with that one. He's surviving with 3 HP. Maryville continuing to push forward with 4-1 being the scoreline. All right. I think you've correctly identified the problem of mid. I want to see how Tamu deal with it.
Well, and I think if you're going to leave mid up, that's fine. A lot of teams leave mid. That's not wrong on Sunset, especially when you're running the Cypher. But normally, if you're going to leave mid, you fight A. If you're going to leave A, you fight mid. Like, when you're running the Neon, you don't play passively on the defense every single round. So finally, we get a fight coming out here. But Maryville just disengaged from it. They're going to do what they did on map number 1. They're going to... Oh, actually, no. They're going to rotate. They don't Counter-Strike.
Wrong game.
Oh, you know what I mean.
Sorry, it was just right there. I had to grab it.
It was right there.
Yeah, they'll hold back on that counterattack, but
counterattack, yeah.
See, I couldn't do it after giving you a hard time.
Standing ahead.
Yeah, and I mean, after you see that Tamu is still playing very far forward on A, you naturally go to B. But Tamu, this is a great read, though. They're going for the quick rotate. Austy Frosty knows, hey, I got spotted in elbow. I'm going to go back. Oh, no, commit to it. Commit to it. Ah, never mind. Now Bang's in some trouble.
Oh, my, what?
Unlucky.
Unlucky indeed.
Unlucky.
That is so frustrating.
I mean...
And we know he had the right read. He was there. He was on target, too.
Oh, yeah. Hot take here. Save.
Not hot.
I think it's cooked. Oh, now it's giga cooked. Aussie Frosty, yeah. He's like, all right, nah, guys. I just got headshot through the smoke. I'm done. I'm leaving. Can Renz hunt down any of these guns? Oh, he's called it. Look. Wildfire's going all the way around. This is brutal if they get more weaponry out of Tamu here. Tamu need all these weapons. They can't keep ping-ponging their economy.
That's the main threat gone. Now he's the other threat got to be dealt with. And they're gonna lose the one. Can't lose another. Okay. Naber stays alive. Sigh of relief.
And the first timeout for Tamu in this series, the first tactical timeout at the very least.
Now we saw one from MCE on map 1 and none in
even
map
on
2.
Abyss. Even on Abyss, Tamu did not feel so lost. Even on their defense, when they lost like 6 rounds in a row.
That's what I was giving him credit for.
They did not feel so lost that they felt like they needed to take that extra breath. I'm glad that they take it now. I think that this is a very important round. You have to figure out what you're doing with your economy, first off. Because, yes, you save 2 guns. Everybody else is hurting, though. So do you go for the 2 hero weapons here, or do you try and commit? And you really only have the Hunter's Fury here as well. I mean, if anything, what I'd like to see Tamu do is not fully fight on A. I think Renz has shown a tendency to, if not meeting resistance immediately at like the very front of A main, to go to a place where he is punishable. I think if you can correctly time like a recon dart or some sort of information to find that is a thread you can pull on. It's not an easy thread to pull on. That is a thread.
Oh, man, this is just... You just got to have so much faith in Austy Frosty, honestly, in this round. Are they going to go with the classic? The classic fight A, but move through mid? No.
Oh.
Hunter's Fury pulled out, though. And off the contact, that's really smart. He gets 2 tags and a kill. That is big value.
It's the same trap that Tamu was trying to set earlier, but they have more firepower for it this time. Dang. You don't have the weapon for that fight, buddy. Yeah, he peels off of it.
Just got to get the fadeaway triple headshot.
With the stinger while running.
Yeah. I mean, it's the
stinger, if any gun can do it, it would be the stick. Yeah, exactly. This actually gets really tricky because Bing's not sure if he needs the paranoia out or if he needs to be holding for short. Because he'd like to use the paranoia to relieve the pressure elbow, but instead he has to hold for short. And now it's really just on Naber. Can Naber hit this first headshot?
Oh, that's a great stun. KHS moves forward, and it's 2 prongs of approach. Tamu had nothing other than these 2 rifles and a little bit of extra cash to force into these SMGs. And it's enough for being chilling. Tamu.
There we go, Tamu. Nicely done. The foot back in the door of this defense. An opportunity to still put up a competitive half here. The question is now that that worked, now that you've used the Hunter's Fury for that trap play, how do you continue that success? What is the next level of commitment you want to show to try and keep A? Because Maryville are not backing down. They've got the overdrive. They've got the rolling thunder. They will beat their head into this wall because they believe their head to be stronger than the bricks.
My hand is up. I got the answer, Teach. You put Austin Frosty at the forefront. I think that's the key. They try that.
He's on the other side of the map right now.
Yeah, KHS. He's in trouble. How did he get another one? Big Chilling. Trying to attack. Oh my god, Big Chilling. How does he get one there too?
Really nice read. I believe that was the From the Shadows committed there by Anj.
It was.
Really nicely done. A 3v2. Very doable, especially as the Rolling Thunder goes through. Clears the site, but it doesn't get any meaningful tags. Sliding right at him. That's bold from Aussie Frosty, but it works out, and the Aftershock gives him one that he'll remember.
This round is maybe one of the most absurd we've seen tonight.
But this is what we needed to see from Tamu. I think the reason that Maryville was starting to run away from this game was Tamu were just playing this comp a little bit too timid. You know, they're used to the deadlock comps, right? They're used to the, oh, well, we give them a little bit of map control and then we see what we can do. Nah, man, you're running the Neon. You gotta go.
It's true, but in this round specifically, right? Like they're sort of combining those two ideas where they are still playing somewhat reactively, but they had the reaction so quick, so prepared to take that. Also, KHS gets 2. I mean, he's fighting through a Rolling Thunder, man, and he's stunned. Like, I don't know how he gets a second out of that.
He's
to
KHS.
the edge of the wall. Like,
he's KHS. That's all I got
that
for
round
you.
is cooked if he doesn't get 2, and he does.
And now Tamu's economy is excellent. We do seem to have a technical pause here. Hopefully whatever's going on will be resolved soon. Both teams likely have enough to be buying into the next round or so, so not a swing round by any stretch of the imagination. And I just wonder what the call will be here for Maryville. Now that, I mean, they used their ults to force that way as well. That was the overdrive that KHS shut down. And, I mean, in the Rolling Thunder... Look, I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. Rolling Thunder is a cosmetic friggin' ultimate a lot of the time. It just doesn't do enough, well, especially when it's guys like KHS on the other end of it.
Listen, I think it's good, except now we have, like, Vice's ultimate.
I think it's good, except when it isn't good because they kill you anyways.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think it's good, but then in the context of some of these newer ultimates, I'm kind of like, what did they do to my boy, you know? Breach, like...
I think there needs to be, like, on the concussed, there needs to be, like, some kind of sway to, like, your crosshair or something. Make it, like, even if it's just tiny. I think there needs to be a little bit more.
Yeah, maybe. Or they could add, like, a slight near sight type deal.
No, I think that would be too strong.
No, not as strong as, like, Paranoia, but... Like, so that you couldn't see at range. I don't know.
Look, we're in the
There's a reason I'm not a game.
We are very much spitballing as we wait to hear news on this technical pause here for you folks.
I do want to say again though, and I know that, you know, I was memeing it a little bit, but I really need to see Aussie Frosty get more, like, I need him to get more involved, and I think that's what they were trying to do on B here.
Yeah.
Before, but then the fast
cam is set up for him to, the cam is set up for contact. The second he gets contact, it's going to be a slide and a flash to fight this.
There you go. Stun comes through. It's Nabber who actually breaks that off. Great dodge. Oh my goodness, I thought he wasn't going to be blinded. He's still able to continue forward. I know exactly. Absurd, but Rin's hot on his tracks. Pick up the pieces. These reactions from Maryville, it's one of their strengths.
Yeah, I mean, and Ren's bailing them out there. Coming all the way through mid. Oh, okay, just a bit early on that swing, I feel.
Cover going out.
He was missing the timing.
Yeah, I wanted to try and pick someone off, but now Bing Chilling is left in a very unenviable position. I mean, they can be literally anywhere.
There's nowhere that's safe.
There's no good option for Bing Chilling here.
I mean, maybe just a small victory. He's got a Paranoia to work with.
If he clears Ren's here, I'll lose my mind.
Yeah. And he won't. Ren's okay. Ren's wasn't looking the right way for a second, but
yeah. All good. I mean, Renz and Geese are just such heroes. Them breaking the door is actually scouted and heard. That's why TMU pulled the trigger a little bit early. But the pace that Renz is able to set here on this Neon. This is, I mean, you talk about how these players can play anything. When I think of Renz, I do think of this Neon quite frequently. It's definitely not the only thing he's good on, but I mean, he's just a spectacle to behold because he uses the pace and the movement so effectively. I mean, if he's any slower on that play, it's just a 2v5 and there's no hope. Ooh, tries to slide past the fault line. Doesn't quite work there.
Oh, Chloric, disruptive with the Hunter's Fury, but it's Nabber this time from the same position that AHS was a miracle worker before. The Aftershock's going to delay them even further. In Maryville, we talked about answers and speed with which they have them. I don't know that there are answers when you're stalled out this heavily.
Spike is down too, and in a place where the smoke doesn't cover. Anj wants to pick it up. Okay, he will be able to sneak past around the box there, so a playable round for Maryville still. They have to leave, but they have no information on the map. They're going to have to slow clear everything if they want to try and go toward B.
It's just under a minute now left in
And
this
Joba's
round.
Joba's got all the information he could need. Has moved over to be ready to assist on an A play, but is still looking toward the door, actually, to make sure that they can't just break the door and sneak through. Oh, no, he's not quite looking to the door. He fell off that angle. But it's right.
It's the right call, yeah. Right for the double swing. That'll do it. That'll do it indeed. Anj gets his. Frosty was trying to be there to provide support, but he ends up going down in the same process. Uh-oh. Tamu, this is your round. This is absolutely should have been unlosable.
Frosty not getting the trade there is devastating. Nabber not going to get a timing here either. An excellent trap wire by Giza. And once again, poor Bing chilling in the same spot he died last round, thinking to himself, well, this is not my favorite version of Deja Vu.
Running back, but it's a 1v3, not a 1v2. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that either.
And they know where you're coming from. He'll go for the save. Another excellent round by Maryville. I thought they were pretty cooked there. I thought it was an excellent stoppage by Texas A&M Maroon by TMU.
It was.
Especially the way Nabber was playing around that smoke. Really just stalling for time. Maryville, they were low on options, but the play through mid just worked. It worked when it really feels like it shouldn't have. Their spacing was excellent. These are the fundamentals we were talking about. I mean, if Anj and I believe it was Giza on just slightly wider angle, they can't both fight the same target twice in a row, but if they're too close, they potentially get collided. Really perfect spacing there.
I think the issue is actually Tamu's. I think that once they had lost control of the spike, they needed to spread out. They needed to be active in taking control back. If they were
I understand
going to be
why they
like
weren't,
that.
Because Maryville has often pumped the brakes just to re-hit the same place. This time around, there's no brakes. They're going all gas toward B.
And it's right in the right direction, Renz. It's through KHS. As per usual, so good with that Hunter's Fury, but Anj,
I mean,
what an adjustment.
Anj's just ready for it, dude. You cannot pull one over on this guy.
Now have a crossfire. Renz, though, not looking the right way. Now they can understand where Anj is located, but he's still just a thorn in their side. Spike's down, and they're playing very far back, just allowing Texas A&M to get the site that they can't have anymore.
Aftershock forces Chloric's hand. He'll have to fight KHS, the unexpected one to swing that. But do they expect Anj? Will Anj be able to get through his own smoke? Oh, the timing is so good for him. Good for one, and Nabber, I mean, even if you win both, you just were too pressed for time. Every first half so far has been 4-8. Will we get yet another one here, Vincent?
Dude, I just gotta love the details in that one too from Anj. This is why I love watching him as a controller player. He just understands the win cons so many times.
Yeah, he's solid.
A lot of players, and listen, hey duelist, I love you. I'm calling you out right now. All right, a lot of duelists, as an example, would have taken those fights. Anj is just knowing that his value is being alive.
And in this round, his value is just dunking on Austin Frosty, who has been rather silent on the Neon, especially looking, you know, juxtaposed next to Renz. And there wasn't really much assistance up in mid, and Renz just steals away another pick in the night, makes out like a bandit. And Tamu, I mean, KHS clutch? that's the only way I see us getting another 4-8. This looks borderline unwinnable, especially with an overdrive in pocket. Where you spotted, they'll wait until it reactivates and then just pounce onto the site.
Yeah, this was just an overwhelm of bodies. Even though they've got the defenders here, maybe it could happen. Joba gets his double, but Renz comes through with the overdrive. I mean, we haven't even seen all that many overdrive kills, despite how many times Renz has had it.
KHS is just running at him. We're still spotted by the camera. It's just like, well, if I take a second to take this out, they get me. So I'll just go get him. A 3-9, not what Tamu were hoping on this pivotal map. So close thus far in these other two maps, but I mean, if you don't get this pistol, especially with the way Renz has been taking over the game, especially with the consistency we're seeing from the rest of Maryville, Tamu, we acknowledge their recent, well, somewhat recent, their this year championship at the highest echelons of collegiate Valorant, but Maryville is looking to shut that down here and now.
Well, and it's Tamu that have looked a little bit lesser in some of the non-NECC competition we've seen them in this semester.
Maryville certainly feel like the more hungry of the two teams right now.
Yeah, especially
here comes Tamu. They're just going to go fast. How much damage can Giza do to him on their way in?
See Frosty. Oh, that's a little bit of a stall. Stunned inside the smoke. Into Giza continuing to farm on the other side. They're trying to collapse, but collapsing on Giza is an impossible task. One that ends in death. Eventual for everybody on the field there. It's Tamu falling, another pistol round gone, and Paul, 10 rounds. Is that too much? Too many for Tamu to overcome?
I mean, now you have the unenviable question to ask yourself. Do we force and risk losing the series essentially in this round with what will be a worse economy, or do we try to win 9 in a row? Tamu, they're gonna force, they go Stingers, light armors across the board. They're gonna run at B again. They're hoping Giza plays in the same or a similar spot and that they can roll him over. If they don't get Giza cleanly, this series is all but done.
Well, that's a good start. Stall him out with the stun.
He's too slippery, though.
Yeah, it's not gonna be there forever. Continue to move forward. Being chilling.
Nice.
Gets 2. That's all of that utility from Wildfire, teeing them up. All perfect.
Last player standing.
And with that, the move in is the move out for Maryville on this round. Likely.
I mean, an excellent adjustment from Tamu. I mean, despite the fact that they are undoubtedly in a difficult position this series, you can see their experience. You can see the rapid pace at which they adjust. They know where Giza is playing. They know what the win condition is for that singular round. For that singular round, they could not have played better Valorant.
No.
The problem is they got to play 6 more rounds, a lot like that, with absolutely no information on the rest of the map before we're talking about a close game.
I mean, Giza was just perma-stun locked there. Like, stun locked, I'm including blinded in that, you know?
Yeah.
It's just now we're constantly being a threat, being a nuisance. I don't think that's going to happen 6 more times in a row, if you will.
Well, and Tamu now set their sights on the A site, trying to get a little bit of information while the guns are not the best for Maryville. Renz will get spotted, but this is like almost a gamble. I mean, Anj is playing pretty close, all things considered. And Tamu, they say, hey, well, if they're gonna have 4 people over here, let's just run it over to B again.
So those fast adjustments we talked about for Maryville, though, as well. Look at how mobile their defense is and how fast Cloric takes the space right back. Now they can stack up towards B. And again, not a lot there in form of weaponry, but bodies, there's plenty of them.
This owl drone gets no information. They don't know there's 3 here.
Gotta find out the hard way. Or maybe not. Maybe not.
Okay.
It's supposedly the hard way. Easy enough.
And a crispy shot to finish it off. A flawless round, much needed there for TAMU. Bonus is a little bit tricky. I mean, they have quite a bit of money. I'd actually like to see them buy into this. Maybe even get a Vandal for Nabber there. It seems like they do want to keep their economy. They knew they need to play the long game. Nothing wrong with that either.
So
for me, it's all about this first contact.
It's all about the rounds.
Site.
You know what I mean? Like, can you afford to give up an 11?
Yeah.
If this
Well, TAMU are betting on the fact that they can get something out of this round, if not just a hard win. It's not 10 is not so dire they can't afford it, and it's a nice pick back by Bing Chilling. That could have gotten very bad.
Yeah, it could have been a lot worse for sure. Maryville, though, a lot of information off the back of that. They pick up Bing Chilling, going for a little bit of information from the shadows, but this is still that contact there has allowed for Maryville to play so far forward over on A. They're still here.
In a very interesting spot. He's trying to catch a timing, but it's the safe rotate from Wildfire, so there's nothing to find. Nice flick. I mean, Vandal diff there. Just out of range of the Phantom headshot, and Joba does end up getting the timing on Wildfire.
Don't know about
So, I mean, now Chloric is tucked in. I think maybe he could have actually waited another second to reveal himself. The spike is definitely going to get planted here. 2v3 not unwinnable, though. And the shock dart nearly gets Frosty Frosty.
Oh, gotta stop fighting him, honestly.
Wait.
Spike planted.
That's a mistake from Tamu. Took a duel, and it's alone. Giza comes in, neural theft as well, but he doesn't even need to see where they're coming from because they fight him anyway. It's the duo of Giza and Chloric that just claw back that disadvantage.
Nice work from Chloric there. I mean, I thought there was a world where maybe he waits, but come to think of it, I think Chloric makes the right play there. Don't listen to me, Chloric. You know what you're doing more than I know what you're doing. I mean, because if he waits, he loses information. He has to try and sneak up, and maybe they look for him. But he knows he can get that one pick. He knows that he can try and hold elbow. And I mean, it was even non-committal on the swing from TAMU. They couldn't decide if they really wanted to fight him or not. So that first pick, very free. As Bing Chilling goes out, but Joba doesn't quite commit to the fight. Maybe if Joba trades there, it becomes easier to win the round.
It's just bad spacing. Just gotta be together there. You're gonna take the fight.
Here comes TAMU, hard committing A. Hunter's Fury, though, stopping him in their tracks, and Wildfire just cold clocks Frosty Frosty.
Dude, on the fadeaway, too. I think he was moving on that one. That's disgusting with a Guardian. And now, where do you go? You go for one of those punchy plays, aggressive maneuvers towards A, and then you get smacked back in the face.
And the concussive blast. I mean, yeah, it baits out the paranoia. Bing Chilling has to shrouded step across. Maryville are under no confusion right now. They know exactly where this is heading. You're not even looking the right way. Oh my. KHS barely tucked in. I mean, unbelievable free fire there from Bing Chilling, just hoping Wildfire would walk out. Nice little reposition. You won't expect Renz to be in that corner after Wildfire died, or will you, KHS?
I mean, this is changing. Joba tucked up. This is no way they checked this. No way they even looked.
Unbelievable.
Chilling gets another one even inside that smoke. 3v5, no problem at all.
An unreal round for TAMU to win.
Unbelievable, dude.
I mean, that we talked about it on Abyss, though. How many miracle rounds can you win like that? How many rounds do you rely on a 3v5 clutch? How many rounds would you hard execute into an ult and a headshot and still pull off the victory?
I mean, how many rounds can you execute with 3 into 4 players?
Baffling work from TAMU, but it means they're not out of this yet. They're not only will they get a little bit closer, their economy will recover, and Maryville not so lucky. This is a round, though, where TAMU have to be very careful. Maryville have shown willingness to go for gamble stacks on these eco rounds. TAMU, if they just headlong run at this A site, I worry about this judge, about this saved Bulldog, about players tucked in corners and chaos. Putting TAMU's series hopes to bed. You cannot let him live!
How does he live?
Thank you. Oh, man.
Dude. I mean, to be fair, Rins was fully willing to sacrifice his body for that ult.
I mean, it's a great play because if they're over on B, you just get the overdrive for your Thrifty. And if not, you're probably going to lose this round anyway, so who cares?
Yeah, and you're dead, so you get it anyway. All good.
And still gets the orb, actually, so denies it away as well.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, classic right-click funny. But
Yeah,
this
free
should
gun, by the way.
this should now be a fine round from TAMU.
Spike planted.
No longer am I worried about it. And Aussie Frosty wastes no time. 7-11. A not unwinnable situation for TAMU considering how much they struggled on their defense. The attack thus far has looked good, but they have very little room for error. Rens will have the overdrive here too, and I mean, TAMU have just fallen over against the overdrive. Love this timeout. Love it. This is the round that could potentially decide the series.
I think likely to. Think about how often we've seen the overdrive for Maryville be just a really
Rens
aggressive
has
part
slaughtered them
of the game plan. And it's not even just like the overdrive getting kills. It's just how mobile Rens is with it. He plays games of just destroying your understanding of timings on the map.
It's the annoying thing about the overdrive. Like, unless you hit that overdrive, like, guaranteed hit it with like a big chunk of utility, like you get a really nice fault line or, you know, rolling thunder or something, right? Like, you have to physically slow it down. And a lot of the time the neon can just run right past your util and you whiff, right? So it's very obnoxious. Counterplay is hard to come by against the overdrive.
That's exactly what you got to see this round out of TAMU. I can't
Like, it's not like KHS is gonna shut down the overdrive with a roll or with the Hunter's Fury, right?
No. I mean, I'd be impressed if you could even track a tag onto it.
Oh, and this is very interesting. Chloric's gonna take the contact over toward A to give Rens the opportunity to pop the ult and swing out. Now, TAMU's not biting. They're not gonna go for this, so it won't quite come to fruition here. But I like the setup from Maryville. Already very cognitive on this defense. They know the overdrive is a solid win condition, and they're trying to set Rens up for it.
That and understanding that they don't get that contact towards A, so they're cheating back over towards B. Rins is looking that direction. Mid control still of question.
And there's a trap wire in that smoke. I mean, you never have to worry if you're the defense right now. Unbelievable that KHS rips that.
On what info? On what info? How? This is absurd. Big move. Back out Aussie Frosty, and Rins just dumpsters him. It's an advantage on the site. Wildfire's still there, but gone from Jin. And Maryville need to try and stay alive. Need to try to live just another day. It's a neural theft. A little bit more of that information. Here's Rins. Move it in, and it's from the clear. Rins 3 strong has cleared them out, but now solo on the move, but not enough. KHS gives him a taste of his own medicine and tries to get that little moving and shoot mechanic to work for him. It does. Ridiculous. Out of Texas A&M, out of KHS. And I can't believe what we're seeing. Maryville, they did everything. I mean, honestly, not everything right, just nothing wrong. Poor Chloric just gets wrecked in elbow. And as they move in, Tamu feel a sense of momentum. that motion might end up being their undoing. Rins gets his mid-fight, so now fully easy enough to hold in the back of the site. Giza gets his, unchecked goes Anj. 12 seems likely as guns recovered. It's all going Maryville's way. Being chilling 1v4 is the test he has to stand. Will he be getting the A+, or is it Fs? Both on the page and in the chat for this round, because Temu, I don't think they are in position to make this happen. Being chilling, this does have a paranoia. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to be enough. Just an absurd setup, not even absurd, just a good setup on the back of the site. The fact that Giza gets one as blinded pulls enough attention that Anj goes unchecked, and it's the 1-2 punch. It's a really difficult spot to crack through on B site. So when it goes down, sticking together in Maryville, their plan here is just play it together. I say that Anj actually separating from the shadows, he still wins the duel. A little bit of trolling at the end, and get Anj that defuse, considering he's the only one who stands an ultimate.
Am I back?
Match point.
Okay, there we go. All right, I picked the perfect time to come back. My picked the worst time to die, but we're fine. We're fine. TAMU, maybe not so much. They have plenty of money. That is the good thing. Rolling Thunder as well, but no shortage of alts and such for Maryville. And again, that overdrive has just been such a headache. I mean, look at Renz. He's a monster. He's not even buying a rifle this round. He's not even bothering. Because he knows what the play is. He's going straight through mid. It's a fault line to punish the A players.
Yeah. They've been here so often, and this is going to be so effective, and it will be. The recon bolt to give it clear indications through the overdrive. It's for 3. Oh, so perfect. 3 kills for Rins.
Bing Chilling at least able to reclaim the spike. Anj gets the information on that. Bing wants to fight it. Oh, because Joba's stuck, but it's all done in an instant. Maryville wasting no time. As decisive as they need to be to win that series and move on in the upper finals.
Yeah, that is the way that we'd like to see Maryville playing. I think they play a style of Valorant that can be incredibly decisive. And even though, listen, all 3 of these games close. I want to this is not taking anything away from Texas A&M, but what it is when they're winning rounds, Maryville, they have a very clear game plan that they execute well, and that's fun Valorant to watch.
It's absolutely fun Valorant to watch. And I think it's harder to take Maryville out of their comfort zone as well. We've talked about it a couple times this series, a very flexible team. Yes, maybe they're still getting to get, like, you know, they've passed like the honeymoon phase of a team, and now they're getting into like the nitty gritty. We've got to have that perfect coordination. And while TAMU at their best showed perfect coordination, showed that championship level performance we know of them, I think the map pool certainly didn't play into their hands, right? All the things you were worried about at the very beginning between Abyss and Sunset, not ideal for them in the slightest. And when they had to go away from that perfect comfort, when it was just slightly less comfortable, oh, it's fine on the Neon, but it's not Osty Frosty's best, right? Oh, it's fine for the Breach, but Nabber is not as comfortable on that as other things. You can see how Maryville, there's just no way to make them uncomfortable.
Yeah, and listen, you mentioned Osty Frosty there, and I think it can't go unmentioned here as we take a peek at the stats. It was felt in the server, Osty Frosty. Just, I mean, when you looked at the impact that Renz was having, obviously at the top of the feed when you're talking about the kills department, I don't think
series
Osty Frosty needed necessarily to do what he did on Bind. Don't think he did, but I think that he needed to be at the forefront of all the of more of TAMU's attacks, and he just wasn't. And I think that, you know, that may not be on him. I think that might be like a team situation. Yeah. But it was certainly felt when you looked and compare and contrast the way Renz was defining the movements of Maryville. and the way that we weren't seeing that for Tamu.
And this is only the second time, at least in an official NECC match, that I believe Austin Frosty has played the Neon full stop. I mean, Tamu, I don't, if I'm remembering correctly, don't really play the Neon elsewhere. It's just a sunset thing. It's just a sunset thing. They'd been trying to run the race here a couple of times. I guess they didn't like it quite as much, so they try to run the more modern Neon. But I think I don't blame Austin Frosty, right? Because, you know, it's just a compositional difference. But you can see what having a comfortable Neon does. Like I said, the juxtaposition is more difficult than the reality. Like I think Austin Frosty is playing fine, but Renz can take over the game. Renz is a player you plan rounds around when he's on the Neon.
Yeah, and I think actually you've nailed it. That's what I was not seeing as much. That I wanted to, and that's what I was calling for the whole time, was I wanted to see more plans around Austin Frosty, because I mean we saw that he can do it. Like he can make that happen when he's given that ability, when he's able to have that trust placed in him. But we didn't quite see it. That does mean that this is a big win for Maryville, moving on to the upper semis. Texas A&M though not out. We still have a lower bracket. They move into that, and Texas A&M kind of a lower bracket team at times. I'm just gonna say it right here.
They have been in the past.
They've
that
been known.
is certain. They'll play the loser of Northwood versus Fisher Fruit as well. I mean, off the top of my head, I would give that series to Northwood. I would be surprised if Northwood didn't take it. Another team that is pretty much in their entire history been synonymous with the highest echelons of collegiate Valorant. Northwood and Maryville, I think it's been a while since they played each other. Yeah, I actually don't even know if this iteration of Maryville has played Northwood. I'm gonna have to go back and look at that.
I don't think they have, because they would have both been North, right?
Oh, you mean for CVAL?
Yeah. Well,
it doesn't even matter because that wasn't even this Maryville.
Yeah, I know, but and even before that, Maryville weren't good. So.
Well, we'll see if that ends up being our match, how Maryville can make that one play out, and who Texas A&M Maroon will end up in the lower bracket against. I mean, I think that about does it for today for us, Vincent. Before we go, we want to thank all of the amazing people and companies that help make this happen. Thank you to G Fuel and Wenzel's. Make sure you guys check that out, and you can see right up. Is it this side? Nope, right above me, over here. Over here. There's my hand.
Go.
Yeah. NECC 20 for 20% off of all G Fuel products. So go use that code, and it's going to be a very exciting week here too for NECC. Yeah, we got Valorant playoffs, but that's not all we have, Vincent. Vincent, both. You're a winner and you're Vincent.
Thank you. I appreciate your confidence in me. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm actually gonna be back for Counter-Strike on Wednesday. We got Overwatch as well. I think that's on Friday.
Yep.
League on Thursday.
League on Tuesday. Rocket League on Thursday.
Darn,
yeah.
I was
almost flippity flopped them.
I got 2 out of 4, which is 50%.
That's pretty good.
Not passing, but I'll take it.
And technically, you knew Valorant was Monday, so that's 3 out of 5. Which like a D gets you passing somewhere. Right? I mean, we're at collegiate. Maybe we shouldn't be encouraging that. But either way, Collegiate Valorant will also be back here next Monday. There's going to be a couple games off streams, but plenty more action for Collegiate Valorant as well. I'm excited, Vincent. This is going to be a great couple weeks of collegiate esports.
Yeah, I mean, listen, playoff time, always a fun time, but a fun time that is unfortunately over for us tonight. Like you said, appreciate everybody tuning in, and we will see you here tomorrow. Peace out.
What am I supposed to say?
It doesn't matter. He's dead. He ain't listening to you anyway.
I'm hungry.
No. Put it away. I can't watch it. Oh, crap. Just reach in. You gotta pull it. Just grab it. Just take it out of his hand. What do you mean you can't?
He won't let go.
What do you mean he won't let go? He's dead.
Help me. Get in there. No, just hold on.
Make him let go of it. No, I got you. Just go in for a hug. Go and get on in there. It's a bad loss. Yeah, hug him up. Just reach. Hug him up.
He's breathing. On the other side.
Go.
I can't do it.
Help me, Lord. Help me get over this loss. I can't breathe. Yeah, I can't breathe. I'm so upset. I can't breathe. Stop. You knock on wood so they go to heaven. It's like a lucky. Get the stick.
Yeah.
Hey, did you get the meat stick?
Yeah, I got it.
Hey, just hold tight for a second. They're moving the casket. Just hold tight.
Yeah, that's no worries.